I'm Holly Constant.
And I'm Maddie Hockaday. We really love Parks and Rec, and we really love behind-the-scenes details.
So we're researching everything from DVD extras like deleted scenes and commentaries,
plus interviewing cast and crew who actually worked on the show.
We also bring on guests and friends to geek out about everything parks.
So join us, you tropical fish.
This is literally the best Parks and Rec rewatch podcast.
We're your park pals.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
Okay, everyone. Hello. Welcome in. We're doing it. It's the prom, which is very exciting. Or not the prom. It's actually titled prom. Which, you know, without the. But I do have some updates from last week. So last week we talked to Piper Major, who is the gal that charges Tom and Ben for coffee at the second tent place that's also owned by Harvey the tent guy. And she was going to send in stuff last week, but just didn't have enough time. So she was really gracious and wonderful and sent in things this week. So I was just going to go ahead and play her voice memos. So thank you so much for sending those. Here we go. Here's the audition.
Do I remember the audition? I absolutely do. I remember that it was an in-person audition. I got it from my agent, and we were sitting in the room. There was maybe 5 or 6 of us out in the outer room, and the casting director came out and said, I think a couple of people had gone in and had come out, and the casting director came in and said, don't make it really important, just kind of underplay it. So I went in, and the plot was that I had to like take a coffee and then hand it and say that'll be $8, I think was the line. And so I went in and got the directions from the casting director, and I turned my body and looked away from the camera. And she had said, she literally was like, I'm going to cue you and then you can go. And so I turned my body, I didn't even look at her. I turned my body and I looked to the side and sort of waiting. And she goes, you have to wait for my cue. I was like, oh, right, of course. So I waited for her cue. I did it. And then I, did the line. And then what was fun about Parks and Rec is that they always let you, like normally when you audition for TV, you have to be word perfect, and they don't expect you to improv or anything like that. So when even in the audition, you got to improv. So your first take was word perfect, and then the second take was the improv. And so then I did the second one, and I added the improv on. That'll be $8. And I said, that'll be $8. And I said something about a tip or something like that, or thanks for the tip or something like that. Anyway, I left the room, and I remember driving home thinking, I can't believe it. I just, I wasn't paying attention. And on the way home, I was heading back to work. You go through all the things that you should have done. And maybe 2 or 3 hours later, I got the call that I got the job. So I remember I was sitting rolling somewhere or something like that, and got the call, and I was like, yeah, I screamed in the, at Mel's, because I was working at Mel's Drive-In at the time. So yes, that was the audition process.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's cool that she, that's a good thought on that line too. That'll be $8, doesn't include tip. That's a good one.
Yeah. Also crazy how fast it was. I feel like so many people, I don't know if it still works that way. I know TV casting is usually fast just because there's so much that you have to get done. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it takes a really long time for them to get back to you because they don't know what they want or whatever. So I feel like at this point, Parks knows what they want, and especially in season 6. So to think of 2 or 3 hours later, it's crazy. Which is great because you don't have to keep wondering.
Yeah, but day of, that seems fast.
And that sounds very similar to what Pam talks about this. Jenna Fisher talks about this in The Office when she had that relationship with the casting director, Alison Jones, who kind of directed her to be to just throw away the line, essentially. And as actors, I feel like all of us are we want to do a really good job and we want to act our hearts out and everything. And I feel like with these kinds of shows, they always tell you to just do less, like
Mm-hmm.
just be less. And not, well, less is a wrong word, but just like be in the moment, like you don't care about this job, you know what I mean? And have that energy behind it. So that's really interesting that that was the direction that was given for this
Yeah.
audition too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen to the second one.
I got to set, and there was I got to my trailer, and my character name was on my trailer. I took a picture of that. Then I went to makeup. Then I put my outfit on, and then they drove me from that area to where it was being filmed, and it was at a like this store. It was in the valley somewhere, and it was like a furniture store. It was like really packed with furniture and stuff like that. So I came in, and I kind of was sat next to all the extras, and we all just kind of waited a little bit, and then and I was actually so sick that day. I had like a handful of lozenges in my pocket because I was so worried about coughing on set when, they were recording. And so I had to like come from behind a coffee maker. It was like a furniture store, and so it was really packed with furniture everywhere. And then where we were acting is I had to be behind this coffee machine. I come out from the coffee machine, and I've got 2 cups of coffee in my hand, and I hand it to Adam and Anzi and say that, that'll be $8, please. The next line is like, who charges $8 for coffee? And then my boss character comes out, and I have to crawl. I had to counter behind him, and then I had to hide behind that coffee machine. And so I remember I was back there, and I had unwrapped when we weren't filming, I'd unwrapped a couple of lozenges so that I could put them on the coffee machine so that I could pop them in like once I'd cleared, because I didn't want to cause coughing on, want to be coughing on when they were recording. I did improv once, and the director came up to me and asked me not to. So I did not get to do that. And she asked me to not do that again. We did probably about 11 takes, I think, total. Adam and Anzi were very nice to work with. Everybody on set was really, really nice, and just really nice. But it was really, it was fun to sort of be in the room with creative people. Like I said in the last one, when you're on TV, it's generally like you got to be word perfect. You got to be, on it. And what was nice about being on that set is to see the creativity. I remember Anzi Ansari kept he had a specific line that he was supposed to say as an aside, or he was supposed to say to Adam. And he kept covering his face. And they were doing like a 2 cameras, so they were filming. We didn't have to do both sides. It was filmed from both sides. So like there was a camera behind Adam and Anzi Ansari, and then there was a camera behind me. So like we didn't have to do separate takes we didn't have to do my way and their way. We did it at the same time. But anyway, one of the things that Anzi kept doing is he kept putting his hand over his face, and the director kept saying, don't put your hand up, don't put your hand up. That was funny. And then the guy who played my boss, man, he just, I don't think he did any of the lines right. I mean, he just improv'd and just had a boatload of fun. So anyways, that was a lot of fun. And at the end, I got a picture with Adam and Anzi. I'm sorry, but somebody didn't, when they took the picture, they didn't get they only got me and Anzi and Sorry. And so in the picture, I got a side picture of Adam's hair, just a little bit of his hair. That was really fun. And then when that was wrapped, we went out, and there was a crafts table out there, and I tried to get on the wrong bus. I got on the bus with the celebrities, and they're like, no, you're in this bus. And so they bussed me back, and they bused me back, and I went back to my trailer and packed up and headed home. So that was my experience on set, and it's so funny when I watch it now. I could just totally tell how sick I was, but it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh my God, I have so many things to say.
What a bummer. What a bummer to be like given this big opportunity to be on TV and you're sick.
I know.
Sucks.
Oh my God. And I totally feel her. Like, I mean, it's already bad enough, like if you're like at work or like I was just thinking the comparison to maybe being at church or something and you're coughing and you're just like, oh my God, can I please just not cough today? And so bringing lozenges was a great idea because that definitely helps. But then to be on set too and not mess up any of the camera things, that's so funny. Okay, the things that I have to say. Number one, I know that she's saying Anzi, but we mean Aziz. And I think it's so funny to me because as she was saying those, it sounds like something like his grandma would call him, like a cute little
it's a cute nickname.
Like cutie little Anzi. I love that. I know Piper didn't mean to do that, but I love that name for him.
Yeah, it's great. I think it suits him.
I do too. Okay, so that's that. And then, Rob Hubel, we talked about him. He was the boss who played, the tent guy, Harvey. And so he, just as a reminder, had a sketch show with Aziz Ansari and oh my gosh, Paul Scheer, who was the Kaboom guy. And so I could definitely see them being like just improv people. And I think that's really interesting. I'm so glad Piper said it. I didn't even ask this. I did ask how her day on set was and like what direction she got and stuff like that, which is maybe what led her to. Which, side note, great memory. I feel like she's remembering so many things that a lot of guest stars are like, I just don't even know what 10 years ago was.
Yeah.
But anyway, I am so glad that Piper said the thing about going behind the coffee machine because I clocked that too. I was like, she just kind of disappears. She walks behind and it's like, where did she go? And it is kind of like they just cut her out or she like ducked underneath the little coffee counter thing.
Yeah.
So that was really cool that she did that and very interesting about not improvising. And we have heard that before, not often, but Piper, I don't want you to feel bad or anything. Not that I think you do, but there have been definitely directors that are like, no, we're good with just the lines. And it's nothing personal. It's just like not needed or whatever. And then every director is different. I feel some directors are like, yeah, that was really cool. And some are like, no, I just want to do the lines for now. Yeah. And then the last thing I was going to say is the hair part of Adam being in the picture. I will say, and I think I feel like I have a note, maybe in this one or maybe it's the next one. I don't remember, but Adam's hair has gotten out of control in a good way. Like his hair is so tall and floofy. It's bordering on John Ralphio, but like cut. Like, but it's really
with
tall
more
and
structure
and floofy. Yeah, with more structure. That's a good way to say it. So I thought that was just really funny because I feel like Adam's hair is so big. So that's basically him anyway.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. So good.
Anyhow. Okay, let's listen to the next one.
The third question, did they give me any blocking? Really, the blocking was pretty easy. Like I said, I came from behind this coffee cart. I handed them the coffees and then just kind of countered behind the boss. We ran it, I think, the first time just to sort of, they gave me a mark to hit and stuff like that, just for the cameras and stuff like that. It was mostly really about the cameras, making sure that I came out and hit my mark and then countered behind the boss who came out from behind a curtain. So, and, I just had used my skills about countering and I think, they didn't have to tell me any directions because I listened the first time they told me and I hit my mark every time. And, hitting a mark is definitely a skill that you have to develop and you have to hit your mark without looking at it and all that stuff. So, one of the things that I do when I'm marking where I'm standing, because I don't want to look at my feet, I mark it visually on like usually the person I'm talking to about visually where I am interacting with them and market that way. So that's but it was also, like I said, it was this big furniture store. So and it was like like literally it was like to the ceiling packed with furniture that was like wrapped up and so like there wasn't a lot of room. It's almost like they'd taken that one little area and cleared out all this furniture and kind of stuck us in there. And anyway, I don't know. I didn't get to see the furniture store before or after they set it up for what was going on, but it was just the walk in and walk out. I just think the fun part was that I had to hide behind this coffee cart just praying, like water. My eyes were watering because I was trying not to cough. That's the biggest thing I remember, because I just didn't want to, mess up anybody's good takes, be a good team player. Oh, one of the things I wanted to add, what I really liked about that set was they had so many healthy choices at lunch. It was really cool. I think that was one of the really neat things about that set, particularly, is because, a lot of the creators were from Second City, and they were mothers and, families and stuff like that. And so, some of the times what happens on set, it's not always the healthiest options for you, but they had the spread. Their craft services was the best craft services I've ever experienced. And like, you could go and get smooth. They had like a smoothie bar. Anyway, it was really great craft services. The best I've experienced on any set. So, yeah, that's a fun little tidbit on there. Yep. The craft services on Parks and Recs was bomb.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. That's
that
so
is a
cool.
good
I love
tidbit.
hearing about craft services.
Yeah. Oh, I love a good smoothie.
Well, they talk about that on The Office too. Like even I think they brought the crafty people, like the cooks and chefs and whatever the hell, onto Office Ladies when they were doing that portion of it or something. So that's really cool. Maybe they use some of the same people. And yeah, that I didn't think about the furniture store. That's a really good idea. I don't know if I'm sure they use like a warehouse. That's what it looks like anyway to me. But that's a really good idea for a set, because like how would you say that you have tents or show that you have tents like set up somewhere? You know what I mean? Especially the amount that he says he has.
Yeah.
So cool. Love that.
Right now, I am working on a project called, it's about, after hours. And it's, it was my friend's idea. And he hires me a lot to write the scripts for him. So I wrote the script. And we're going to be filming that at some point. It's a parody on waiting tables and being a waitress and all the crazy stuff that happens at restaurants and stuff like that. We're going to be filming that, like I said. What I like about my friend, he always comes up with an idea, and then he always casts me, so that's always a great thing. I'm also directing for the first time. I'm directing a play at the end of this month, and I'm also in a play. It's like my theater company does a short play festival. So we picked 9 plays, and I'm acting in one and directing in one. That'll be fun. That's my first directing debut. You can find me on all the social medias, on all the social platforms. I'm Piper E. Major. I post on TikTok almost every day. I do a walk. 3 years ago, I just started this thing where I wanted to walk every day. And so I just started walking every day. So the first year I got about 210 steps in, and last year I got 215. And so it's a kind of a check-in. It's really for me. I mean, I post it on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, because my mom's only on Facebook, so I got to do it on Facebook, so mom gets it, and all her friends. But so and it's just sort of a check-in, and it's a one-take wonder, and I just do it. And anyway, that's been fun. So you can find me. It's called Walk Day. I think my next walk day is Walk Day 22, year 3, and occasionally I'll do lives with that as well. I also, during COVID, I created a vlog called Find Love in the Time of Quarantine, and it's basically, it's telling men what not to do on the dating sites. specifically, and just sort of letting them know what their behavior translates to in women brain. Like when we see you do specific behaviors, like for just as an example, for some reason people were on Words with Friends. I'd get hit on by people that worked on oil rigs. It's very strange, or doctors. And so anyways, I was communicating with this one gentleman, and he said that he was a doctor. And my next question, so my mother has her doctorate in education. So sure, technically my mother is a doctor. She's just not a medical doctor. And so, I know that. And so when I asked this guy, I was like, oh, well, are you a medical doctor? And he, well, of course I'm a medical doctor, and got all sassy with me. And it was like, and so then it made me realize that he wasn't actually a doctor, because a doctor would know that there's, you can get a doctorate in anything. You can get a doctorate in science. My mom was an educator. So anyway, I wrote a little scene, and I cast my mom in it. And so that was really fun. So anyways, I did 10 episodes on the vlog, and it was really cool too, because I got a bunch of really good actors to join, because they were all bored. They were, COVID, and it was all filmed at home. So like they just filmed from their home, and I filmed from my home. So like there was no, we didn't actually breathe anybody's air or anything like that. And so what I did is I just took all those and made them into a film that's called Find Love in the Time of Quarantine, and won a couple of awards at some film festivals for it. So anyway, that's what I'm doing now. I'm also a writer right now. I've been writing a couple scripts. I'm team writing a script about the sex trade, and that it's got a great idea to it, and it's very poignant. We're trying to get it where we did a table read of it this last summer, and got some really good feedback on it. I also wrote a film called The Hard Decision, and I also did a table read with that, and just hoping to get some traction with that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, just auditioning when I can. And I got something that happened to me several years ago. It had been like months since I went on audition, and I got to go, and like I got an audition, and I went on audition. It was a commercial audition, and as a commercial auditions are just sort of like, it's what you look like, and it's generally you generally, unless if it's a dialogue heavy, they'll give you the dialogue ahead of time. But if it's not dialogue heavy and it's mostly just improv, you just go in and you see the storyboard and you improv it, and then you leave. And so it doesn't take really a lot of skills. Sometimes even like commercials. And I think this one specifically was literally, they called in like 15 of us in at a time, and we just had to tell us a personal story about ourselves. And so, I mean, that's not really like using the actor instrument that much. But I remember after I got out of that audition, it was like, I felt so much better. I just, like, before that, I didn't realize how curmudgeon-y and irritated I had become until I went to that, because it had been months since I'd been in audition. And so I just, at that point, I realized that I need to feed my artist. So if I don't feed my artist, I get curmudgeon-y. And anyway, that's what I've learned to do. And so I make sure that I'm always in class, and writing feeds the artist. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. You can find me on all the socials. I'm Piper E. Major, PiperEmajor. That is my name, all strung together. You can even find me on Gmail that way. So TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook are my big ones. And you guys have a wonderful one. All right, bye.
Yay. Well, thank you so much. It sounds like there's a lot of stuff going on. So we'll definitely tag you and post you in our show notes and on our Instagram. But yay, thank you for sending all of those wonderful voice messages.
Absolutely.
And I will just give everyone a heads up. By the time this comes to you, I'm sure you'll know, because you'll be looking at the timestamp. But this will probably be a longer one, because there are so many guest stars in this episode, and a couple did send voice memos for this particular episode of Prom. So just hold tight. And I'm honestly really grateful to have everybody post and send us stuff. So
yeah.
So that's that. Okay, well, thank you, Piper, so much. Again, we'll post all of your information. Those are really cool little tidbits, so I'm glad that we got a chance to hear from you. All right, so season 6, episode 18, Prom, original air date April 3rd, 2014, directed by Ken Whittingham, which is great. We just saw him a couple episodes ago on The Wall episode. I've talked about him a lot. He's done 8 episodes of Parks in total. He's done The Office. Like, his resume is insane and so good. Like, if you're watching currently St. Denis Medical, which is on Peacock as well, it's so good. Same creators as Superstore. Or if you're watching Abbott Elementary currently on ABC, he is also working on those. So we love him. He's also worked on Scrubs, and I'm curious if he will come back to direct any of the reboot of Scrubs that's coming out this month. So yeah, Ken is just like all over the place and has his hand in everything, and he's very good. So well done, Ken. And then this was written by Matt Murray and our beloved late Harris Whittles. We've seen both of them many times before, especially on Parks as writers and producers on the show. But I haven't talked about Matt recently. Matt Murray, I have talked about him before. Like I said, he's been on SNL, The Good Place. For Parks, he wrote Article 2, aka Ted Party Day, and Gin It Up. So if you're currently watching those or have watched those, that's what he is familiar with, or that's why you're familiar with him. He's also doing Loot, which is the Maya Rudolph show on Apple TV, and Alan Yang is the creator of that. He's also worked on Man on the Inside with Ted Danson, which is the Mike Schur show on Netflix. I believe they're getting a 3rd season. They just finished the 2nd season. Cool. And of course, Harris, such a backbone of Parks. We obviously always mention that. Absolutely would have gone on to work on the same shows or created his own show for sure, much like these other writers and directors as well. I know that, oh my gosh, we just lost too soon, because I know that we would have gotten so much wonderful, beautiful art from him had he been here. But you know what? He made his time on Earth very prominent, and we definitely remember him. So great directing and writing team for this episode.
Yeah, strong.
Okay, well, I have a summary written whenever you're ready.
Perfect. Okay. It's a short one.
Okay.
Leslie and Ron fight over a promising intern/employee. Andy and April attend prom together, and so do Ben and Tom.
Yay! Yes. It really is just circled around this whole prom.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we start this episode with Ben in his office, and there's a note that says to open the top drawer, and Ben literally loses his mind / goes insane because this explosion happens, and I think he thinks that he's being bombed or something, which essentially he is, but in a nice, fun way.
Yeah. I would have had the same reaction, though. That is so much.
Oh my God. And I'm dying.
Yeah.
We see Leslie poke her head in and say, just calm down. It's okay. I just wanted to surprise you. Open the bottom drawer. And to be honest, if I was Ben, I don't know if I would. I would be like, no, you open the bottom drawer.
Yeah, you come open the bottom drawer. And you get splashed with confetti in your face.
But there's a cute little cake in his bottom drawer that says, will you go to prom with me? And Ben doesn't understand at all. But we learn that with the merger of Eagleton and Pawnee, schools are making cuts, and the first thing to go was a senior prom, which Leslie cannot stand for. So now the Parks Department is going to throw the prom so they can have a nice little moment, which is very sweet. That's so nice.
Yeah, I love that, because it is, people still talk about their proms now, if they went or they didn't go or whatever. And so it's like a quintessential growing up thing. So
yeah, totally. And even if you don't talk about it now, or if you didn't like your prom, I feel like it's still a nice, like you said, part of your growth / high school memories. It's not to say that it's the best thing ever in the whole world, but it is a nice portion to think of.
Yeah.
It's a stepping stone, I feel. A milestone, I should say.
Yeah, a milestone for sure.
Yeah, and I think a lot of kids are upset if they can't go to prom, so that's nice that they're at least getting the option to have one. Leslie says she also volunteered to teach Latin because they were going to cut that too, so she needs to learn Latin. Also, the detail that it's, I think she said AP Latin, not just regular Latin.
Yeah.
I'm like, Leslie, oh my God, that's very nice of you, but you won't do those kids probably no good. Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh boy.
And she says that the prom will be a good distraction from thinking about her Chicago job that she's been thinking about. And I had a note. It's so funny. I had a note before she even says anything about her own prom that I would have loved to see Leslie at her prom, like little baby Leslie, like probably planned everything in her cute little dress or gown or something. She says she made out with Harvey from the AV club, but he almost died from a VCR electrocution. That's a really funny detail.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, it is. It's great.
Also, like, I want to join an AV club. I don't know. I texted my friends from high school that I still am in touch with, and I was like, did we have an AV club? Because I feel like I would have been interested in that, but I just don't know if we had one or if it was like a big deal. I feel like everybody has like this, thing that it's for nerds and stuff, but I feel like it's really interesting. I would do it.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting. I wonder if it's kind of like wood shop and like not every school has it.
Yeah, maybe. Did you have one? Do you remember? Or any sort of clubs like that in your high school?
No. I mean, we definitely had clubs, but I don't remember us having an AV club. There was a chess club.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I know. I feel like, if there was a club, like a lot of times the kids had to be the one to start it, unless there was some like super passionate teacher, which happens a lot. But I feel like I wouldn't have even known. So I'll have to go through old yearbooks and see if there was even, something to do with that.
Yeah.
But I could start one now. I'll do it now. It's fine.
There you go.
But legend has it that this Harvey person can turn on a microwave just by blinking at it because of his VCR electrocution.
Which is so insane.
I know. That's a really funny legend to hold on to. I always think of, you've seen Sweet Home Alabama, right?
Mm-mm.
What? Oh my God. If it's a rom-com must, you have to. That needs to go on your list immediately.
Okay.
Like, you are a rom-com fan. You have to watch Sweet Home Alabama. Yeah. Oh my God. You are missing out. You and Ivan need to do that for Valentine's Day immediately. Stat.
Okay.
Anyway, there is for the people who have seen it, there is, and this is not a spoiler or anything like that, but basically Reese Witherspoon's character like does some sort of like explosion situation, and then this small town has a cat that like survived the explosion, and like the cat comes back and it's like sometimes staticky, and that's what I thought of.
That's so funny.
Maybe it's just a small town legend situation with the AV clubs. Anyway, let me know when you watch it. We'll do a full review.
Okay. Here for that.
Let's see. Oh, I just had a note that I would love a Park Pals prom. I feel like I want to go to their prom because I feel like going as an adult, like when you are in, like, especially for Leslie and Ben who are in love and like, nerds, like would like to go and redo their prom and have their own little adult moment. That would be really cute.
Oh yeah. It'd be so cute. Yeah. I'm so about that.
Did you guys have proms in Beijing?
Yeah. I can't remember if we did I think there was like a 8th grade formal maybe. And then a prom, but I don't remember if like, cause a lot of schools, they'll do like junior prom and senior prom, or like the juniors and seniors will both go to prom. I don't think I went to prom twice. I think I just went once in my senior year, but yeah.
Yeah, I went junior year I went with a bunch of girlfriends, and then senior year I went with a date and who was kind of a friend, and it was really nice because it was all together, that was the junior seniors one. But if you were a freshman or sophomore, you could get invited by a junior or senior. Then it's like, oh, you're going and you're not even technically like allowed. You know what I mean? But you are.
Yeah.
And yeah, going dress shopping was always fun too. I always liked it anyway.
Yeah, we always had to do ours via the internet and get it delivered to us.
Oh, sure.
For my 8th grade formal, though, it was 8th grade or 10th grade. I think 8th grade. But for that one, I designed my dress and we had it made there. And because it wasn't super expensive to get it made. And so that was really cool.
Like at school, the school did it, or who did it?
No, we went to like a seamstress in Beijing, and just like I took the design and we went and bought the fabric and brought it in, and it was really cool.
Where'd you get the design from?
I drew it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. One of my electives in school like was like a fashion class, and so you like got a ton of sheets with just like bodies on it for you to like draw outfits on. So that was
That's
pretty cool.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you still have it?
Yes, it's a dress that I don't think I could give away just because of that cool aspect. Like it's not the cutest dress in the world and or anything, but
Yeah, but there's a
like
connection.
yeah, yeah,
That's so cool. I love that.
yeah.
Aw,
It was awesome.
cute. So let's see, Ben. Oh yeah, we have a prom committee meeting, and she says that Tom is in charge of music, but Ben wanted to do that, and then they start flirting, very cheesy, cringy. It's almost like more cheesy than just making out.
Yeah,
Does a little
it's a little bit more. It's like more uncomfortable than if they were kissing in front of everybody.
Right. It's
Yeah,
so funny. I
and
also love. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's just so funny to me too. Like we watched them in this entire series, and you're like, you guys, like this is like your place of work. Like the whole like massage thing in his office. This is your place of work. Because Ivan and I we like when we are on the premises of work, we do not hold hands. We do not like we talk about work stuff. We eat lunch together and stuff, and but like and what they're doing, we would never ever do, even if it was just the two of us in the lunchroom.
It's so funny. Oh my God. It's very precious for them to do it, I
It
suppose.
is.
But if like Donna says, like if you were in the room with them, you'd be like,
Yeah.
yo, cut it
Ew.
out.
Yeah.
I also love seeing how much of a nerd that Ben is. Oh my God. He had his little radio station show in college, Zoot Suit Wyatt, King of Swing. By the way, if people didn't know, I mean, obviously we should know, but I didn't really understand that a zoot suit is kind of like a mobster looking suit with like the shoulder pads and the long suit jacket. There was an 80s movie called Zoot Suit, which I'm sure Ben is very aware of. But I just wanted to paint the picture for you of what Ben would be wearing.
Yeah. Zoot Suit Wyatt.
So he's going to co-DJ with Tom now. And Tom is not excited about that, but it'll be great.
Yeah.
And then we've got Alison back, which is very exciting. And if anyone remembers, her name was actually Cassidy in Model UN or the Treaty episode, which is where we met her first. I don't know what made them do that. I remember talking about this too, where it was totally different names because, as we rewatch it, we've already watched this episode when we were doing Model UN. We were like, that name is wrong. But
Yeah.
I don't know if they forgot or whatever, but we'll call her Alison for this episode because that's what she goes by.
And I don't think you even needed, like, there's no, like, real reason you would have needed to change her name either.
Not that I can think of. I don't know if they just forgot or what. Or maybe they just didn't think she would be as prominent of a character, but she's, like, in Model UN, like, very frequently. So, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, friendly reminder that Alison is played by Kelly Washington, who sent in wonderful, amazing voice memos a while back when she was on for Model UN. So very exciting. Please take a listen to that. She also has an Instagram where she goes to Disney and does really fun, like Disney vlogs.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I tagged her last time, but I'll try to tag her in the show notes or our Instagram too, so you guys can check that out too, because it's really cute. So Leslie says that she needs the theme for the prom to look like $1 million, but also cost $0, because they don't have much of a budget or any budget really at all. And she suggests fairy tale. Alison suggests fairy tale because they can reuse the Into the Woods set pieces from the theater department, which is great. That's fun.
Yeah, that's smart.
I feel like many proms, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because we think proms are magical or whatever, but I feel like every prom I went to / have heard of has this type of a theme, like Fantasyland or like some sort of Grecian like goddess situation where like there's columns and flowers and magic and it's just like I don't know what that is, but I feel like that's the prominent theme because you just want it to be magical.
Yeah, I think it's the magical piece of it.
Mm-hmm. So Alison has a binder from or for her notes and everything. She got organizational stuff from the black market in Mexico, which I love this. I would absolutely do this too. Juan Julio Oficina Supplies didn't actually go out of business. Wild. Amazing.
Yeah. They just opened a new one in Oaxaca.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. I love how cute they are together and how they're getting along so well, and how Alison is quite the mirror for Leslie, and she just like can't get over that portion of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think this is what creates the spiral of Leslie crazy in this episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tom says there's no need for a set list. Oh my gosh. I also love his little, like, he has his little board deciding which songs to do, and like he only answers one question: is it a banger? And I love his little dance moves when he's like dancing around trying to decide the music. It's so funny.
Oh my
It makes
gosh,
me laugh a lot.
yes. It is. It's so funny. But the logic for me is like, dude, at prom, people want to dance to slow songs too. They came with a date. Like, you got to have some variety in there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And so that's where Ben comes in, and he's like, I think set list flow is very important. And I don't know. I guess it depends on the event. Like you said, with prom, you know, you want to kind of mix it up and have each vibe be different. I don't know. This also reminded me of our friend Molly, who has been on the show before. She stresses about playlists. Like if there's a party and she's making the playlist, she's like, oh my God, is everyone like actually into this music that I'm playing? And it's so funny because I don't know. I was going to ask what your vibe is. I mean, if there's music playing, I'm never like, I hate this, unless it's like only contemporary Christian music. And then I'm like, okay, I don't need that every single time.
Yeah.
But I don't really, I mean, I'm just vibing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like when I'm at a party or whatever, I hear that there's music. But if I'm like doing the thing, the activities and stuff, I'm not like scrutinizing everything I hear. Yeah.
I don't think many people
it's vibes.
Would be. Yeah.
But people can tell when the music stops.
Absolutely.
That's why you want enough on there that it's going to not stop.
Right. 100%. Yeah. I always notice that with like scores for movies and stuff. People think it's not, well, people don't, it's not that they don't think it's important. They just don't think about it at all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you can always tell how, like, if the music stops, you can absolutely see and feel how the energy shifts without it. You know, that's why restaurants are really, it's psychological, I feel. Restaurants and clothing stores, and there are people that, like, especially in the marketing team, that create playlists / songs that psychologically make you have more energy, less energy, you know, whatever. I remember someone talking about, I don't know if this is true or not, but someone told me one time that they, like, I don't know, either saw like an Instagram thing or read an article, something, I don't know, about how Hollister used to be really loud on purpose because they don't want the parents coming in. They just want the kids to like go in with the credit card essentially, and they want the parents to be really like, okay, fine, just go in there, whatever, I'll be out here. And I feel like that, I don't know if that's real, but that sounds real to me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it makes a huge difference. If I'm making my own playlist, and I promise I'm almost done with this tangent, but if I'm making my own playlist, I'm definitely a hodgepodge of things. Like my friends and I have done that before, where we'll send each other like playlists to see what we're listening to nowadays, and it's a really interesting way to like kind of get to know someone. I definitely don't have like all just one genre. I don't think about like the flow of one song to the next. I'm just like, oh, this song is cute, this song's cute. And it is interesting for the people that do that. I like it. I mean, both ways.
Yeah I'm definitely like you, though. I have multiple genres going at a time, and yeah.
Ben is hilarious because he says he hopes the auditorium is big enough because he's bringing 10,000 Maniacs, which is a rock band from 1992, which I knew that it was in the 90s, but I just thought that was a really interesting detail to let you know that they're keeping in theme with his early 90s roller skating party. It's 1992. Yes. It's not mid 90s. It's early 90s.
Early 90s. It's important.
And then Tom has his little moment where he's like, I'm not going to be seen with you. And he's like, now I'm going to be DJ Robo Drop, which is the new portion of him wearing a helmet, which is a lot of famous DJs do that. You know, Daft Punk, Dead Mouse, a lot of Vegas people do that too. So, you know, if that's what he chooses to do, that's fine. But it won't go off well, I think, with a bunch of high schoolers.
No. He thinks it's going to be a rave, and that's the problem.
Right, exactly. So Andy and April are talking, and Andy is saying his high school prom had the theme "My Heart Will Go On," and there was a photo booth with a Monica Lewinsky lookalike. Oh my god, that's so funny and terrible. So specific.
Very specific. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, I also love this little writing moment of the parents of that after party moved, but they moved to prison. Oh, that's so good because they like let them drink and do all the things that were probably illegal. And then we find out, I mean, not a surprise, that April hates prom. Yikes. Yeah. And oh my gosh, this song that Andy writes for Sarah, but like changes it to April. Everything rhymes with Weiss, which was the Sarah's name. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, not great.
The crazy part for me was how far he made it into Sarah Weiss's name when he's singing it before he realizes, oh crap, I'm singing about April.
Exactly. Yes. Oh my god. And I love this moment too where they have a whole phrase for when you try to jump your car over a lake. Like, you laked mine. You laked my car. Which made me think that they have tried this more than once or have, you know, borrowed or stolen their parents' or families' or friends' cars and tried to do this.
Yeah. Concerning. Yeah.
This absolutely is Harris Whittles coded for me. I feel like this is something that I feel like the animal department people would have done.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So Leslie's now talking to Alison, saying she should take a park summer internship because they have a program. And she says she's totally interested. Alison says that she'd be into it. But Ron, turns out, knows Alison. And we learn that Alison's dad owns the hardware store that Ron goes to. And there's like this whole little moment where Ron tries to make Alison not take the park's internship. Which, like, I don't know. At this point, honestly, like, get out of here, Ron. Like, you can talk to her about this later. I don't know. It felt weird to me.
Yeah. I think the fact that it's like his reasoning behind it, like, then comes across like, now we're in battle for this person. Like, I think it's fine for him to be like, hey, I know that, you know, Leslie talked to you about this internship. If you're interested in doing something to get experience for your resume over the summer, you know, I also have an in at the sawmill.
Yeah.
You know, like, it could have been very chill, like, let her make her own decision vibe. So it's really interesting to see Ron take on this Leslie energy around this because he doesn't care about a lot of things.
Yeah. He just cares about not corrupting the youth into the government.
Yeah.
So that's his like whole moment, his whole motive, I should say, behind this. But yeah, I mean, this is where the competition starts, or not starts, but like continues. I feel like this is nice to see, or not nice, I guess is the wrong word, but interesting always to see Ron and Leslie kind of fight over things that they believe in such opposite ways. So yeah, love that. Oh, I was going to mention, too, I thought that this was interesting. To be honest, like TBH, before we analyze, I didn't really see the big deal for Leslie to be so passionate about Alison taking this job. Like, obviously, I knew that she wanted, you know, us all to be, like, interested in parks and the government and all these things. But now that we've analyzed, seeing the high stakes, or maybe it's not even analyzing, it's just, like, rewatching it, honestly. Like, seeing these high stakes of needing someone to take over so that she could potentially do the Chicago job, it just makes so much more sense, like, why she's so intense about it. Like, she needs to know there's at least one person who's passionate about the work, because one of the reasons we talked about last time why she hasn't taken the Chicago job is because she's not sure if Pawnee is going to be safe or if this merger is going to really work, and she hasn't seen it tangibly come together yet. So she needs a leader to, like, know that someone's gonna take care of them and can stand firm in the parks department. And I think if Alison was there, it would give her permission that she's been seeking, in a way, to leave. And I was like, oh my gosh, of course. Now, this is classic Leslie, of course, though, and honestly, classic me too. I would feel like I related to this, not thinking this all the way through. You're putting all of your eggs in, like, a 17-year-old's basket.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really have much juice to go on, but Alison is so good and so passionate, and she could totally do it.
Yeah, she definitely could. But the problem being, like you're saying, she's putting all of the eggs in this basket of this kid who could realize a year into college that she doesn't want to work there.
Right. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, totally. And Leslie's not really seeing yet that Alison also might not want to do this like for the summer because maybe there's a better option for her. Maybe it's not the sawmill even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's something else. But I think that Leslie and I both do this, and I think you do as well. A lot of us do. We see the potential in something and really run with that potential, even though we're not even sure if that's going to work out.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I would say I do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So there's the company I work for right now, something that they always stress is train your replacement. Like, you know, you never know when opportunity is going to come knock on your door for your next job, like, or for you to escalate or for you to leave your team and go do something else. Right. So their whole thing is once you've got your thing down, like, you know, you train your replacement.
Yeah. Or at least have some sort of manual of like everything that you do. I think that's one of the biggest things too. And that's also like that could work for like promotions and stuff as well. Cause like I think so many of the times, especially in the corporate world, but just in the general, like your bosses don't know all that you do. You think they do, but they really don't. And sometimes you even forget how many tasks you've taken on since you've started. So every time you learn something new or add things on, add it to like just a list. It doesn't have to be on your resume yet until you want to, but like add it to the list. And then that way the replacement can see like this is all the stuff that you can either work up to or take on right now. You know, it's always good to do that.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so Andy is now picking April up for prom in a limo. Hilarious that they are so different. Andy wearing a bright blue tux situation and April is dressed in basically funeral garb, I feel.
Yeah.
But that's her version of dressed up, which, you know, that's fine. And Andy says that all the stuff in the limo is free. And I love that this limo driver's like, no, it's not.
He sets the expectation. That's smart.
Right. But Andy wants to make this the real deal, wants to make it like a really big moment for April. And that's really sweet, I think.
Yeah, his intentions are pure, for sure.
I don't know for sure. I like to pride myself on finding each of these actor guest star people, but I could not really figure out who this limo driver was, but I think that he might be Doug Jones, who is primarily a producer. And if this is the right Doug Jones, he's worked on Rutherford Falls, Veep, Hacks, The Good Place, a lot of Sherverse stuff. He was also in Moxie, which is Amy Poehler's movie. Doug Jones is such a classic name, like, you know, or classic meaning like everybody might have that name. So there's this one Doug Jones who many people will remember because I feel like I can't remember why I talked about him, but there's this one Doug Jones who's a creature actor, meaning that he works a lot with like being a monster. He was actually, what's his name? Billy in Hocus Pocus. So there's that Doug Jones, but that's not this one.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a picture on IMDb. I Googled, usually I can find like an image or something. So I am not really sure who this limo driver is, but I think it might be a producer of the show that they just decided to have come on for this one line. Question mark.
Makes sense.
If you were the limo driver, let me know. Did a great job, like I said. Very straightforward and like, nope, it's not. Oren is back, which we love. He dresses as April's mom. Oh my God, love this. To take pictures and then Champion the dog is the dad. I loved it so much. And I also love that Andy takes it so seriously, like, good night, sir.
Yes, I know. He goes along with it. This is another episode where we see this a lot. We've caught it a lot, where you see how different April and Andy are, but why they work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really cool.
It is. Let's see. So Ben and Tom are having some trouble with the DJ equipment. I love this line. It might be my favorite. How am I supposed to keep my Husker Du albums in near mint condition? Not even good condition, just near mint condition.
Yeah. And condish. That's the part that got me.
Yes. Ben says his own prom was after he got impeached, so he couldn't go without people throwing eggs at him. Oh, dear. And his parents threw the prom for him in his living room. Oh, so sad.
Yeah. I'm still a little messed up from it.
Yep.
Poor
Makes
guy.
sense. Oh, my gosh. And then Tom says that he was only at his prom for 15 minutes because he spent so long getting ready. Like,
That checks out for me.
Absolutely. Well, I love that's what's so great about this writing team. I feel they do such a good job of like painting the picture for you of who they were before, which like they've definitely changed, but you're still to the core who you are, and have always been. Oh my gosh. And I feel like if I was Tom's date, I just would have gone by myself. I mean, like, okay, I guess I'll just meet there. Like,
yeah.
Or you're not my date anymore. I would be pissed too.
Yeah. It's fair.
So now we're blowing up the balloons for the little drop of balloons, and the principal says it's A+ work, which we are very excited to get an A+ from Principal Russell.
Yep.
Principal Russell is played by the actor Steve Tom. He's been in so many things. Great journeyman actor here. He's been in Gilmore Girls, Desperate Housewives, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Scrubs, 2.5 Men, Dumb and Dumber 2. I mean, we know all of those things. That doesn't even begin to cover all of his credits. And he does voiceover acting too, which we love. I did talk to him, but he came down with the flu, which is really sad. He called me, and then I called him, and then it was just like such a weird phone tag moment. So then I ended up texting him. Not that you guys all need to know this, but he'll send in voice memos when he feels better, which I think will be, he said he could probably send them in next week because he's starting to feel better. But I was like, oh my God, don't even worry. Because he was very precious and he was like, I'm so sorry. Like, when do you need this? And I always tell all the guest actors, like, listen, we have a lot of episodes left. Just we can absolutely add it into a later episode. Like, there's really no quote deadline. I'd love to have it for your actual episode, but like, that's not the vibe.
It is what it is.
Especially if you're sick, come on, or like you're working or whatever. So hopefully Steve will be able to send me those for next week or before this season is over, which we're getting to the end too, which I think will happen. But anyhow, he did a great job. Such a demanding, like almost father figure type principal.
Yeah.
And when I say demanding, I just mean like you want to impress him and just, really feel like he is proud of you. So I love that.
Yeah. Great casting.
These scenes, by the way, were filmed at Portola Middle School in Tarzana, California. Just thought that we haven't done a location breakdown in quite some time because I feel like we haven't really been many places. Next episode, we get to the winery and I have a little breakdown on that, which is exciting. But I feel like most of our sets, I feel, in the last couple episodes in particular, have been at the studio because they've been at parks, you know what I mean? Or like that hospital room that Anne is in is most likely a set as well. It could have been an actual hospital, but for how short it was, I highly doubt that. They probably built a set for that. So I feel like the locations have been not as needed, if you will. Although I will say, oh no, wait, we already said this. I was going to say there was a location where they did the sign for, remember Yvonne Jourdain, Councilman Hauser said that it was like outside of the studio where they did the sign for Pawnee. When you're here, then you're home, and they don't know if they're leaving or entering Pawnee. So that was a little moment. But this one was set fully like at the prom, at this middle school in Tarzana. And just if you're not familiar with LA, Tarzana is about like 45 minutes from LA. I feel like everything's where they film is about 45 minutes. So anyhow, so if you are in Tarzana, Portola Middle School, you can drive by there, but you don't have to. It's fine. And then her and Alison are vibing seriously. It's very cute. They make helium voices from the balloons. Very precious. But then Ron comes over and has a competition moment saying he'll pay her $40 to help him construct something for the prom, which is constructing that, little cage for the balloons.
Yeah.
So, yeah. She has some decisions to make, and this is a lot of pressure to put on her for a little high schooler moment.
Yeah, and that's one of my biggest problems with it because I think we are in like a Leslie bulldozing era right now because we've had several episodes back to back where it's like she can't chill.
Yeah,
and that's my thing is like what I wanted to do when I was 17. I've done like 3 different professions since then. I wanted to do 3 or 4 different things in college, like you don't really end up where you think you're going to end up at 17. Like, I get what they're trying to do and they're trying to instill, they're trying to give her opportunity. But I think they're both trying to they're getting something out of it for themselves in it rather than giving her the space to see, like, to decide what she wants.
Yeah. Yeah, because this isn't about Alison. It's just not. It never was. I mean, Leslie uses that as an excuse, but she's in denial. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this is about Leslie having her place secured, but also Allison's an afterthought for sure, because Allison's really good and smart and can absolutely be capable of running the Parks Department, much like Leslie does. But yeah, this is not about her. This is about a Leslie feeling better about leaving, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is about Ron sucking it to the man, if you will.
Yep.
Sticking it to the man, sucking it to the man, and saying, you know, the government's not for young people or for anyone for that matter, and I'm going to prove that through Alison, essentially. Yeah. And yeah, she's just the vessel. I mean, they're really just fighting, competing like they always do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Poor kid.
I know. And yeah. Also this whole helium thing, I did not understand / did not know that helium is primarily for wielding and filling airships. I did not know that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You still use airships?
Or wait, sorry. It's for not airships. I'm sorry. It's like for filling. Wait. Okay. I did a whole article on this. Okay. Or I found an article on this. Okay. So it's for not welding. I'm so sorry. Welding. And then, yeah, it does say filling airships, but let me just go through the lists. Okay. So there's a medical use, respiratory treatments for asthma, bronchitis, and other lung deficiency, MRI magnets, which is interesting.
Wow. Interesting.
They have to be cooled in order to consistently and accurately do their jobs. And with its extremely low boiling point, helium gas is the first choice of hospitals to perform that crucial task. Crazy.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Apparently, helium also helps with fiber optic cables for TV and cable TV and high-speed internet. They have to be manufactured in a pure helium atmosphere to ensure air bubbles don't get trapped inside the cables. And that's the same thing for other technology like mobile phone, computer, and tablet chips, computer hard drives, cleaning rocket fuel tanks. Although not used directly as rocket fuel, helium is used to clean the fuel tanks of liquid hydrogen and oxygen that are used as fuel. Crazy. It won't combust with any oxygen that happens to remain in the tank. Microscopes for similar reasons as the MRI machines. Helium is used in airbags, which is wild. Mm-hmm. Helium is a gas of choice for affecting the near instantaneous deployment of airbags in cars. Okay, this is the airship thing. I don't know why I said airships. Does he say airships? Why did I type that? I don't know. But it detects leaks in the hull of a ship. Helium is famous for its capacity to detect leaks in many different mediums, whether it's the hull of a ship, the air conditioning line of a car, or high-pressure systems like vacuums. Helium's ability to diffuse through solids 3 times faster than air allows it to effectively identify possible leaks, which is a big deal in these big-ass ships.
Yeah. Wow.
Intriguing.
That's cool.
And then the last one is shielding in welding. When used as a shielding gas in welding, helium promotes a higher heat transfer for a more consistent weld, ultimately yielding a higher work speed. Better productivity is something companies always want to embrace.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's cool.
It says that the United States produces about 75% of the world's helium, with more than 40% of helium used annually by the U.S. found in the Federal Helium Reserve in Amarillo, Texas. The rest of the world's supply comes from Qatar.
Okay. I wonder how much we pay for helium.
I know. I wonder that too. Now, again, listen, this is online and the internet is never like super mega reliable.
100%. Yeah.
However, the reason, so I'm saying that about the 40% of like Amarillo, Texas, and Qatar. I don't know, but I do the reasons that I listed, like the top 10 uses for helium, those are real because, or at least there's enough data on the internet to tell me that is real. But I didn't see enough data / like reinforcement of the Qatar / Texas thing. So if somebody knows differently, let me know. But otherwise, that's crazy. I never knew that. I think that's so interesting to me because like no one thinks of helium as like for technology or MRIs or for ships.
Yeah. I literally thought it was just for filling balloons.
I think we all do. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. What a great thing.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, that's just like any of the elements I feel, like even oxygen, like oxygen tanks are medical uses as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't know. It's very intriguing. So if you're a scientist, I'm sorry that we're stupid and didn't know that. Not stupid, but ignorant of that fact. Okay. But this is why we do this podcast. So
Yes.
thank you so much.
We've learned a lot of things on this podcast.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know why I said airships. That's really interesting. I need to go back. What does he say? I'll go back and figure it out. Okay. So Ron says that he slow danced to a Merle Haggard song and left early for the shift at the quarry at 12 years old. So he must have been going with an older gal, I feel. That's probably what happened, like when I talked about earlier how you could be invited to a prom.
Yeah, that's quite a jump, though. That's probably at least a 5-year age gap.
Yeah, I can see that. That's so Ron. I mean, Tammy 1 is older than him.
True.
By far.
True.
She literally birthed him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Ron, gross.
Yeah. I'm definitely not trying to. I'm definitely not trying to say that like a 5-year age gap is crazy. Anybody out there who has it, I'm saying a 12 to 17-year-old, that age gap feels different.
Yes. Yeah. I've heard.
So.
And then Ron says he never went again. Felt like I had outgrown it. Very Ron. Very, very Ron vibes. Yeah. Okay, so there's a sign here. I wanted to see if you saw it, but the mascot of Pawnee is puppies. It says Pawnee Central Puppies. Oh my God! It's so a quick funny pan, but the camera catches it, and I was like, "Oh my God! I did not know that was the mascot. That's hilarious."
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah,
that's such a not threatening mascot.
Exactly, not fierce.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
So April's trying to leave early, but Andy is really in his element here. He is just so into it. Then he starts talking about the movie. What is it? Expendables. Like he was like, it's not a good movie. I tried to watch it the first time. The second movie, that little runner is really, really funny. And that's a lot of times to watch a movie if you don't actually like it. So, and then also I don't really understand Andy's reasoning here because that's not a very good metaphor. Like, that means April will not like the prom then, because at the end of the day, he didn't like the movie, and that's what he's trying to tell her will happen to her. Like, you just have to keep trying Andy. It.
Yeah, what a sweetheart.
I know, he's trying. Then these high schoolers come over and say the stuff he's playing, that Tom is playing, is like so old it's probably trinking on grizzle dump, which, oh my gosh, great commentary on like phraseology and crazy things that language comes up for kids in each generation. Insane. That was really good.
Oh yeah.
And I think this is the first mention of grizzle.
It is, yeah.
Which
I had that noted.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I feel how they like glommed onto this little moment. This little tiny moment for a grizzle mention, you know?
Yeah.
So the girl in the pair is played by the actress Pearl Charles, and her character name is Daphne Doralf, with a random L in there, which makes sense if you're trying to like clear the name, I guess. Like Mike Schur has talked about throwing a letter in there that doesn't actually belong so that no one actually has that name. She's been in quite a few things, and I noticed her IMDb doesn't have a ton since 2018, but then I found her Instagram, and she's primarily a musician, so everyone go follow her. Super cool. She's actually playing at the Joshua Tree Music Festival in May, if anyone is around. Oh, wow. So go check her out. Pearl Charles. Super fun. And then the teen guy is played by Alexander Stam, and his character name is Casey Jones, like with an M instead of Jones. Again, another Schur moment.
Oh my gosh.
And also, they absolutely... Okay, this was another reason why I couldn't find the limo driver guy, or why it was difficult for me, because they absolutely have it wrong on IMDb. A lot of times when they have guest stars, they have a picture on the IMDb, and it says, like, their two names, and it's like Alexander Stram and Amy Poehler in Parks and Rec. And they absolutely have his name as Doug Jones. And I was like, that's not him. Because I looked up all these people and all these names and stuff, and Alexander Stam has his picture, like his actor stuff or whatever, on Google when I Googled it. So I was like, IMDb, what are you doing? But anyhow, so not that anyone is like super mega caring about that, but I cared. So Alexander has his last credit as 2017, so I don't know for sure if he's like acting right now. However, he does have his acting stuff, like his acting website, still up. He also has some stuff in the casting department, so like production wise, so maybe he's doing some of that as well. But I went to his Instagram because I stalk everyone on this show, and he is actually a director at the Sphere Vegas, which has a lot of theater shows.
Wow.
And it's like super
so
immersive
cool.
theater. Have you been there before?
No, we want to go, but the tickets are they're not like super cheap.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like a bucket list thing for when we go back to Vegas, because what we've seen has been so cool.
Yeah, it looks so cool. I wasn't really aware of it, to be completely honest. But it looks like a very super immersive theater, very IMAX vibes. Currently, The Wizard of Oz is playing there. That seems so fun. But yeah, he is. He directs there every now and again, or I don't know if he's directing currently, but he has a bunch of pictures at the Sphere. And I did message him on Instagram, but he hasn't messaged me back. So, or maybe I messaged his email because I think he has his email online too. But regardless, it looks really cool, and I'd love to hear more information about that as well. So well done on him. And check out the Sphere if you're in Vegas.
So cool.
Yeah. So it's funny because these kids say that all of these, music people are really old that Tom's playing, but I knew everyone that Tom mentions, like Ja Rule.
Yeah.
All those people were definitely in our era, I feel. So I also love that each of their costumes, like their DJ costumes, are totally in theme with themselves.
Yes.
Like the sparkly Tom moment, and then Wyatt zoot suit moment. It's not quite a zoot suit. He's just wearing a trench coat, but it's still in the
It's very 90s rom-com. Like
yes.
Breakfast Club.
Yes.
Camp. Is it Can't Buy Me Love? What's the one where,
like
where John
Candles.
Cusack holds the boombox?
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Totally. So him. Andy's dancing by himself, which I love that little cutaway that they just no one else is dancing. This
it's
moment we own it. That song, it's so good. So Leslie's trying to describe how to pull the rope for the balloons. So I love Alison's line of, so just pull the rope.
Yeah. I think she has a good, like, the advice that she needed to give was watch the faces. Like, like we don't think about, we think about do the thing and then go on to the next thing. Like, here's your reward is watching your hard work pay off, right? But going to the point of like, this is how you pull the rope. I'm like, Leslie, step back, girl. She's 17, not 7. Like,
yeah. Oh my God. And then Ron and Leslie start fighting over this, like, or at Alison, if you will. And Leslie says to look at the faces, like you said. And Ron says, no, look at the cage. Both valuable and both can be true at the same time, of course. But one of them has to win, so they really just fuck it up. And then she is Alison's just stuck in the middle of this competition that Leslie is having with both herself and Ron, if you will. And I mean, I can't blame Alison. She just pulls the rope and runs away because she's overwhelmed and is like, okay, bye, see you never. And doesn't look at the faces and doesn't look at the cage. Like, that's what's, I think, obviously, maybe I'm thinking too deeply about it, but like, that's what was the metaphor about it, of like, you fought so hard over this and didn't really focus on the right thing, so she didn't get anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the balloons look really fun, and someone's breakdancing, so the prom is still going well despite all of this and despite the music. But it's sad to watch Leslie and Ron just completely fuck it up.
Yeah. Yeah, and Alison should be out there enjoying her prom too, and she's not.
Yeah, totally. So Donna says she didn't go to prom because she was dating an older man who was coaching. Which, did you see this on IMDb? I don't know who came up with this, but they said based on Retta's age, the older man Donna alludes to dating at the time of her prom is likely Mike. How do you pronounce it? Kraszewski, better known as Coach K.
Yeah, Coach K was a Duke basketball coach. Yeah.
Yeah, because she says something about like the final four, I think, and Duke was in the final four. So I laughed out loud at that.
Yeah, that's great. That's hilarious. I never would have put that together.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I was like, oh, I know exactly who Coach K is and why.
Yeah, exactly. And then I love Retta Donna just saying like, yeah, like I'm going to dance with a bunch of kids after that, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like this is a moment too where Donna and Ron have such similarities. They've both lived such lifetimes before their time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Then April feels bad because Andy's having such a good time and April like hates it here. She doesn't want to be at prom. And she's like, how can I love someone that like loves all the things that I hate? And then Donna has a really good little advice moment, again, with the similarities of Donna and Ron coming in hot with their words of wisdom. Donna says Andy loves a lot of dumb stuff, but he loves her the most, which is so sweet. And it is interesting, kind of like back to your point, like they really don't seem to have much in common at all, but the fact that they love each other and do the things that like their lifestyles are similar, maybe not like specific activities like a prom, and they also like you said, kind of accommodate each other too, which is more important.
Yeah. That's really sweet.
Yeah. And she tells April, just be direct, like tell him what's up, because it doesn't seem like, something deeper than that, or it does seem like something deeper than like, I just hate teenagers and I hate prom. Like it does seem like she needs to just have this conversation, which we learn a little bit later about why she's feeling this way. But yeah. And in the spirit of being direct, she apparently came with a guy, but told him to wait in the car and tells him as much when he comes up. I love this little dejected, yeah. I thought I told you to wait in the car. Yeah. See,
So
be direct. I need her affirmations with me at all times. I just need her to come up on my alarm clock and just be like, you got this, bitch.
It'd be great if she had like a little Donna poster of those things.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, those need to be in the corporate offices, not like the other affirmations that, some big random place made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those ones that Michael Scott has in his office and stuff.
Yeah.
So we did. Which one? Oh, okay. That one doesn't count.
Okay.
That one's real. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
You don't take.
Michael Scott.
Yes. Michael Scott.
Gosh. But you know what I'm talking about? Like they have him in like corporate offices and therapist office where it's like a picture of a building and it's like courage.
Yeah.
Or it'll be like a picture of like a sunset and it's like bravery. And there's nothing really going on. So yeah, having a Donna one that actually means something would be really lovely. And confidence building.
Absolutely.
So I actually forgot about this, but because he got it in a little bit late, but I'm going to try to pull it up on my phone and see if I can play it that way. But Reece Kirk is the guy who plays Donna's person that's waiting in the car. And he sent in a voice memo. His character name is so funny. I don't even know if I know how to pronounce this. Delwyn Burfig. Delwyn is the first name. Burfig is the last name. Reece is an actor, director, and writer. And according to Instagram, a cat dad. So we love cats. Great work, Reece. Also, apparently, Reece, I need to ask you about this, but I saw on your IMDb that you were a pro wrestler, which is like totally up Donna's alley.
That's cool. Yeah.
So that might have been the casting decision behind that. But let me see if I can just quickly pull up the email here. He said one of the reasons why he couldn't do it was because because he actually went on like a little mini vacation for his wife's birthday. So happy birthday to the
cute.
wife.
My name is Reece Kirk.
What? He's Australian? No, you're not.
G'day Parks and Recs fans. My name is Reece Kirk. I played Delwyn Burfig, aka Retta's date, aka Retta's bitch boy, on the Prom episode of season 6. So back when we used to actually go into the casting office, now everything's on self-tape, we do here at home in our own studio. I went into Dorian Frankel's casting office, and I believe it was Marlies Gunzenhauser who was running the session. From what I can remember, there was a dozen blokes in there going for the role. I remember talking to a guy I kind of knew, and he was thinking, Retta's date, Delwyn Burfig, sounds like they're going to cast a black guy, and I was like, why? And yeah, I thought I got as good a shot as anybody, and went in there and gave it my best. And I think, well, I booked it, so I must have nailed it. So besides a guest star I did on a Nickelodeon show, this was my first network TV gig. So I was excited. It was at a high school here in the San Fernando Valley, so that was convenient for me, near where I live. And when I got there, I got dressed in my little trailer dressing room. They took me to makeup and sat me down next to Retta, aka Donna. So we got to chat for a little bit before we went to set. She was very nice, lovely. She's pretty quiet. I did mention this is my first network credit, and she congratulated me, and then we headed to set. So when we get to set, they introduced me to the director, Ken Whittingham. We had a quick chat, and they sit me down in between Donna, Retta, and Aubrey Plaza, and she introduced herself, and she was super nice, which was amazing because her character is not. And then Chris Pratt comes over and introduces himself, and he's super cool, a big fan of his. And then they start running lines from another scene. And so I'm just sitting there in between all these guys, watching them run this scene. And then Chris Pratt says to me, he's like, "Oh, dude, was that funny? What do you think?" And I'm like, "Man, you're Chris Pratt. You're hysterical. What else can I say?" So when it was time for my scene, we rehearsed it, blocked it. There was a camera shooting basically behind me and one shooting my face. The camera behind me shooting Donna. But the mark they gave me was kind of almost behind her where I had to land and say my line, which is kind of awkward because I wanted to say it to her face. So I kept overstepping my mark and blocking her. So that was something we just had to figure out, and I had to get right. Acting 101, hit your mark, say your line. So once we worked that out, we got 2 solid takes of it, and they're like, great, moving on, because it was a huge day. The auditorium was filled with teenage extras, high school kids, and tons of scenes to shoot. So yeah, it was a big day for them. So they were like, "You're good, man. Let's get out of here." But the great thing was I got to come back the next day and, get paid for a whole nother day just to slow dance with Retta. Looking back on the casting process just now, I did notice that they changed the line from the audition to what we shot on the show. And I think the director said that I booked it because of how pitiful and dejected I was when I said the line, yeah. So I guess that's what got me the job, and that's what he emphasized. Do that again and be really pitiful. And about a year ago, I was Chris Hemsworth body double / stand-in for the Meta Glasses commercials, and got to work really closely again with Chris Pratt. And so I reminded him I was Delwyn Burfig on the Prom episode, and he had a laugh and said, "Yeah, they give you guys the silliest names. They love to do that." But yeah, I got to work with him pretty closely over 3 days, and yeah, we got to have some good chats. He's a great guy. It was so fun to work with. I got injured last August and eventually had to get surgery in December, so I've been out of the game for a little bit, recovering, doing PT. But I did get to work on 2 Super Bowl commercials. If you watch the Super Bowl, there was the Dunkin' Donuts commercial. I actually was Ben Affleck's double because he was directing. He needed someone to stand in for him and do the rehearsals. And if you watch that commercial on the cast, that was incredible to work with all those iconic sitcom stars. And the other one was the Bud Light commercial with Peyton Manning and Shane Gillis and Post Malone. I was Shane Gillis's body double. So anytime it would cut to Peyton Manning, that is the back of my head. So you don't see my face, but you might see the back of my head if anybody would recognize it. I actually have a show coming out later this year called Hot Court. It'll be on Tubi. Right now they've got Hot Kitchen on Tubi, and the next show will be Hot Court. And I play an Aussie surf instructor who doesn't know how to surf and gets himself into trouble. So he's in court for that. It's a spoof on court TV shows. It's really funny. Well, it's been a pleasure sharing my stories and my experience on the set of Parks and Rec. It's still the most recognizable role I've ever done, even though it was so small, which goes to show what a great show it was and how much people love it and it touched people's lives. Unfortunately, I still haven't seen it all, so I'm going to take this downtime I have while I'm recovering from this surgery to watch it all from start to finish, and I'm looking forward to that. Cheers, guys.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What a cool guy.
How did I read that he was a pro wrestler and did not pick up on the fact that he was Australian? Because that's absolutely in his bio. I just went and checked. Usually I definitely read it all, and I think I did. I just skipped over that part. Oh my God.
That's so
it's
funny.
one of those things too where I feel like, you just get kind of like thrown back a bit by an accent, I'm sure that happens with people.
Fair.
But oh my God, Reece, that was such a wonderful voice memo. Oh
So
my God.
great.
And I mean, I love that he mentioned the dejected thing because that's exactly what I said with Donna. And I also love that you got to come back to slow dance with Retta.
Yeah.
But also I love hearing about the blocking. I know that's really nerdy, but I really loved that little tidbit about not blocking Donna or not getting in her way, because he does have to stand to the side. And I mean, it sounds so simple, but hitting your mark without looking at your mark or making it noticeable that you're looking at your mark is very, not second nature. You know what I mean? Unless you're practicing it. So that's really interesting to know that. Oh my gosh, the Dunkin' commercial. I do remember that. I did see that. And the whole I don't know if it was CGI or whatever they used to de-age them. Do you remember? Or did you see it?
I haven't seen this year's.
Oh, okay. Okay, because, the Dunkin' commercial. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. Where we watched it, they would turn the music back up during the commercials. And I kept telling Ivan, I was like, do they not understand what the Super Bowl is? Because it's also the commercials.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, my God. Well, look up the Dunkin' commercial. It definitely
I love
was
the Dunkin' commercials.
One of the biggest ones I feel for this one, just because like he said, they had a bunch of sitcom stars in it. So Ted Danson, Mike Schur. Mike Schur wasn't in it, but I'm just saying Ted Danson, Joey from Friends, Matt LeBlanc. There was obviously what's his name, Ben Affleck, and then we've got Jennifer Aniston was in it. What's his ass, Jason Alexander from Seinfeld. Everybody was in it. I don't even know what they were even talking about. To be honest, but they used technology to de-age them and make them kind of the age that they were on the show.
Wow,
which was really weird. I feel like some of them didn't really need to do that. That could have been successful with just makeup and wigs, to be honest, because they all look really good anyway.
Yeah.
So I think some people were thrown off by that, but still, that's really cool. And then I saw the Budweiser commercial with the farmers, but I didn't see the Budweiser commercial with Peyton Manning. So I'll have to go back and watch that. So that's awesome to be a body double for that.
Yeah, so cool.
My God. Well, thank you so much for sending that in. That was really, really fun to listen to. And I mean, I can't imagine coming in as a guest star, having a couple lines and seeing all this insane, production going on around you. A lot of times it's just at the parks department and they have that set that they already have. But prom is a huge deal / a lot of moving parts, I feel. So that's awesome. And I'm so glad that you got that role.
Yeah.
And cool that you got to work with Chris Pratt after the fact,
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Love that. Awesome. Well, I hope you're healing from your surgery and that you had a nice vacation. Okay, moving on. So we've got Ron saying that Tim Houtner from the Sawmill is offering Alison a paying job, assistant to the head mulcher. I laughed out loud at him saying he called him on his mobile telephone. He didn't say my cell or anything like that. Or the fact that you even had to mention your cell phone in general.
How you called it. Yeah.
Yeah. But then we get some sad moments and scary, nervous moments from Leslie that the principal comes over and gets them in trouble. And he says that Alison feels harassed over the employment decisions. And Leslie hates that he is disappointed in her. It's so much worse. It's so sad. And she can't get over the disappointment. I love this moment. Not necessarily if this was in real life, but I love this Leslie moment where she says she wants to make sure the A+ stays in effect. Let's just not get ahead of ourselves, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, let's not forget the A+.
Exactly.
Oh,
Ron immediately says, okay, fine. That's fair. I get it. We fucked up. Okay, I bow out. And Leslie's like, okay, I will too. Fine, whatever. But then, Leslie, I could forgive everything, but then making an announcement about the winner, about the summer internship, during the prom king and queen situation, and making Alison feel really embarrassed that her name is being called out. That's no good. That's not.
Yeah.
That's steamroller moment that I couldn't get past. Everything else, I'm okay, I get your motivations, whatever, but you're going crazy.
Yeah. Definitely. Because again, they're not thinking about Alison. She's not thinking about how this is going to impact her. She's trying to force the hand a little bit. I'm really proud that Alison felt safe enough to go to her principal to like complain about it. Like, that I'm glad she did that for herself. Cause
I know. I definitely, when I watched it, I didn't even think that Alison said anything. I thought that Principal Russell was just like overhearing them do this to her. So I don't even know.
That's true. She couldn't have
what
done.
She did.
Yeah.
But maybe
she could have not mentioned it.
Because like they were being loud enough that I feel like Principal Russell could have absolutely seen this and been like, "You guys are being stupid." But maybe Alison did do that. I don't know. Yeah. And the fact that like Leslie has created this fantasy in her mind that they're both running for president now, and she has this moment of like, they're all yours, kid, or whatever the hell she says, and I'm just like, oh God. And also, side note, from this angle, from this camera shot, the prom does look really cute. I'm not mad about this. I don't think I see a bunch of Into the Woods vibes, if I'm being honest. Like, it just looks like a lot of balloons and maybe some, like, flowers. So
this is the thing that I think is, like, from Into the Woods.
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
backdrop. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's, like, some flowers and stuff, but it looks like it's on the stage, but not really everywhere else.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So Tom isn't playing anything. It's just silence. And Ben is like, okay, well, I'm going to play something if you won't. And the kids love it. It's just classic rock. Ben, also, I love when Ben's like, you got it, Snoopies. He doesn't know what to call it.
Yeah, he doesn't know what's going on.
Also, Tom, you got to let yourself, I mean, I know I'm skipping ahead a tiny bit, but you got to give yourself a break a bit because kids don't know what the hell they're talking about. Like, it's either too vintage or not vintage enough. Like, this is not, I mean, a thing that you should be stressing about.
This is not your standard. It should not be your standard. Yeah.
Okay, so then we've got a cute girl in a yellow dress that comes up to ask April where she got her dress, and April is so mean. I'm like really over April in this moment right here. I get that you're upset, but stop.
Yeah, we don't need to be that way to other people.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
But anyhow, this character is played by Brittany Oaks, who sent us in some voice memos as well. Very exciting. Her character name is Cassandra Sasnorp. I'm pretty positive this was... They just keep getting better, don't they? I'm pretty positive this was in Mike Schur's list of names that he...
Favorite names.
Favorite. But anyhow, Brittany is an actress, musician, and dancer. Her last acting credit, let's see, it looks like she has something coming out soon. I'm not sure what year, but I did ask her what she's working on, so maybe she'll comment on that. But let's go ahead and listen to the first one.
Hey, what's up? I'm Brittany Oaks, and I play Cassandra Sasnorp in Season 6, Episode 18 of Parks and Rec, and that was the iconic prom episode. And it's just so funny because I still hear people talking about this episode to this day. And I just laugh because it's like you just never know when you book a job, like what the job is, what it's going to entail, and how it's going to be received. So I just am so grateful that I got to do this job. So how I got this job, I guess it was like any other process for me as far as auditions go. I got the sides sent to me from my manager and an audition request for Parks and Rec. And at that moment, I did not know what the show was. I had never seen it. I remember opening it up and being like, oh, shoot. There was like 3 or 4 roles that I was auditioning for that exact episode. And when those kind of auditions come through, you're just like, oh my gosh, I have a lot to prepare. And I remember there was like several pages to the sides and feeling like, all right, here we go. I got to do this. And not knowing that in the end it would end up being that one role. But long story short, I was super excited because during that time I was training a lot in some kind of like off-script type work for acting and doing some improv and scene study, but it was very much like, let's get off the script and let's just kind of like improvise and be in the moment. So I felt like that was the perfect timing that I got this audition because I remember really utilizing that when I was going out for these characters. I wouldn't be able to tell you right now what the other role names were, but so I just remember going into the audition feeling very prepared, but also feeling free. I just felt very like ready to just kind of let it come out naturally and have fun with it. And I remember feeling very connected to the sides when I was in the room, very connected in the scenes. And I remember the casting director, it must have been the assistant, but she was laughing, and I felt empowered. I was like, okay, this is really fun. And yeah, and I felt so proud when I got, I think it was maybe like a week or two later, I got the call that I booked the role, and I was super excited. And at that time, I still didn't know, okay, what character was it, and what role did they end up choosing me for? Because, I had auditioned for all of them. So yeah, it was really exciting. And another funny little layer to that audition is the day that I got the audition for, I would believe it was a Thursday. And at that same time, my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, we just barely started dating. And he was at school, and he's like 3 hours away from LA. And I said, I'm going to go visit him because I want to see if this is like something I'm going to be serious about, and I want to give this a shot. So I was about to go visit him. I planned to go visit him that Thursday. I was going to head out of town. And I was like, no, of course. Of course I get an audition on that day. And it always happens like that. Like an audition will come through, or a callback or something, when you decided you're going to plan a trip or a getaway. But I realized it was at like 3:00 in the afternoon. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be able to do it. I'm going to go to the audition, and I'm going to go straight there and visit him. And it was about maybe 2.5 hours from the audition. So not too bad. But the funny thing about it was, I told him, I was like, hey, I'm planning on coming, but I do have this audition, so I'm going to get there later than planned. And he's like, oh, cool. And he knew I was auditioning, and he was supportive of my acting career. And he knew I was a child actress, and I was working on different things. And so I told him, I'm like, yeah, it's the show Parks and Rec. I don't know what it is, but and he was like, what? I'm watching Parks and Rec right now. He was watching it, and I guess his roommates knew of the show, and I was like, oh, cool. I hadn't really seen it. I was like, I need to do my homework and go watch something before I go to this audition. But yeah, I was thinking, wow, this is kind of cool. I guess it's a popular show, and the guy that I'm digging, he likes the show, and maybe that's how I got the job. It was like some good luck, or just some good energy involved, and excitement, and mixed with some of the training I was in and all that. I think I was ready to go. And that made it all the more exciting when I got the job, because it was about 2 weeks after the audition. And I remember getting that phone call, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I got it. And I had to tell him too. And he was freaking out and super excited. So that was a very fun memory and moment for me when I got that role.
Oh my God, how fun!
So cute. I love the backstory.
I know, me too. This is why I love these, because I would have never thought to even ask about that. Oh my God. Like, does anyone watch the show or whatever? Because especially when you're younger, I feel like, maybe 17-year-olds maybe weren't watching Parks. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, they should be, obviously. But some weren't, or even The Office or anything like that. So that's a really interesting tidbit, that maybe it was the good energy. And yeah, that's absolutely true, that if you, book a trip or something, you're going to book a show or book an audition or whatever. But luckily, it's not like you were trying to get it on a plane or something like that. And then, yeah, there have been quite a few. I mean, this happens all the time, I guess, with TV. But we've heard from quite a few guest stars that audition for multiple roles, because they brought in a lot of guest stars or co-stars for this show, for this episode in particular, which I did not anticipate them doing. But they brought in a lot of high schoolers to really round out this scene. So I'm sure that she auditioned for pretty much every other high schooler that was in the show. So yeah, that's really, really cool. I did ask her, I don't know which one it was, probably like the third or fourth, but I did ask her about her yellow dress, because I love that yellow dress. I don't know what it was, but it really stood out to me. So I asked her about it. I think that'll probably be in the third one. So, but if it's in this next one, that's why she's talking about it. Just wanted to give everyone a heads up.
My day on set was super fun. I remember it being very quick. They got me in and out. It was ran very professionally and very efficiently, which I wasn't really used to, because my background is in primarily film and, music videos. And I also was signed to Island Def Jam in a girl group for a period of time. And everything that I had done in the industry was always kind of just like all over the place, the timelines. Especially when you're an adult, you just don't really know how long you're going to be there. And I remember, especially with feature films, day to day can change, and you can be there throughout the night, or you can be there, early in the morning. You can be there for long periods of time. You might not even get to your scene the day that you're there. A lot of hurry up and wait. I know people have heard that phrase, but it's very true. And even in the music industry, it's the same thing. Like our recording sessions would sometimes be later in the evening, going into like early morning sometimes. And, it's just like kind of wild, and you just are used to it. So I remember when I got onto the set, it felt to me like a 9 to 5, and I really love that. And I don't know if all television is like that, but I felt that on this set because it's TV, because they're just like boom, 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 knocking things out. They had like multiple cameras filming from different angles. They were able to just kind of like get through things quickly. Yeah, I just remember it was really awesome. I got there, I got to my trailer, and it was very quick. They got me right to hair and makeup. They kind of just gave me like a fresh, young high school girl look, prom look, and it was kind of fun for me. And then I remember really shortly after that, they got me right to set. Yeah, and so we filmed in Tarzana at a middle school. And I remember, I want to say there were kids at school that day. We definitely would have had like, the section blocked off where they were filming and where the trailers were. But yeah, we must have filmed it in a gymnasium. And so, yeah, it felt really real. It was a real school. So it gave off a good vibe for everybody shooting that day. And I remember Chris Pratt this was before he even like blew up. This was like right before. I mean, I know he was really well known for the show, but after he was working on all these big projects. And so at that time, I also didn't know who he was, but I knew he was a lead in the show. So he comes into the scene after I exit. So we were there filming that together, and he was just such a nice person. I remember him talking to all the extras, but not like performative. It was very genuine. And he was just talking to them and being like very friendly and really down to earth, like a cool person. And I remember thinking, I took that in the back of my mind because whenever you're on set and you have an opportunity to be around people that are very experienced, or they're leading a show, or they're, main character, you just want to kind of absorb and learn from them. And I really liked the way he interacted with people and just taking the time and not feeling like he was better than other people. And I think the people really appreciated that too. And so I was very, very, very grateful that I got the chance to work with him, especially after that. And I'm realizing how big he was. I was like, wow, I can't believe I worked with him. But there was that, and Aubrey was also great to work with. What I took from her was she was very focused. She was focused on her work. She was prepared. I mean, her role was very dry, and she had to be like, more internal. It's not like you can be like goofing off crazily and then go straight into that mode. Like, I was buried in it, So she was very professional. She took her job very serious. And again, I was not there for very long, so it's not like I got to really get to know these people well. But I just felt like they were all very, very good people, very professional and nice to work with. I absorbed a lot. I watched and observed a lot, so I could prepare for my future if I ever have an opportunity to lead a show in that way.
Oh, that's so great!
That's
I
awesome.
love that. And I just have to say, Brittany is so well-spoken. I'm like, these are a little bit longer voice messages than we usually get, and I'm just like tuned into every second, I feel. And I think that she probably edited a little bit and like closed out some ums and stuff, which I know is not a big deal. And maybe I'm talking too much about how the sausage is made, but I can like tell, and it's really nice. It's really professional, and I'm just like with her every second, and I love how she's like speaking. So that's a weird compliment, but I just wanted to say it. And yeah, that's really nice to hear about how it was run very professionally. I think we hear that from a lot of co-stars, especially in this season. They know what they're doing. With this many guest stars, you really do have to be on top of it, or at least like they want to be on top of it. I like how she described it as a 9 to 5, because I think that's really what Mike Schur / Amy Poehler's goal was with this show, to get the thing, be the funny, and go home, like have so much fun and whatever. And yeah, we've heard from many co-stars, and I've heard from many friends of mine that no, not every TV show is run this way. There are many shows that don't really have the structure that Parks and Rec seem to have, or like the desire to just want to kind of get it done, do the best you can, be funny, and let's like go live our lives. You know what I mean? I think, and films definitely are different too, because it is a longer, you don't have to be out next week. Like, we don't have to get the show out and edit it next week. Like, this is a movie that we can take our time a tiny bit with, and then it stays in editing for 100 years. So they can change stuff, and the amount of footage that I'm sure is cut from movies is nuts, because of how much they film, and like she said, stays on set late and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I really appreciate that everyone was nice and everyone was just kind of ready to get to work, which is, I think, one of the best ways, like she said, to learn from this industry. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to be that person that's just like fucking around and waiting for everyone to get their shit together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that goes for any job, really. But for sets, when everything's just moving around every 5 seconds, makes a big difference, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Ken was the director of the episode, and he was great to work with. I remember we probably only did it, like, it was definitely less than 10 times. I want to say it was like 5 or 6 times we filmed it, because I had mentioned, they have multiple cameras rolling and they're getting every angle, so you're able to knock it out quick. And so, yeah, I remember the first few times, I think I did it a couple different variations of the line. The first time I probably did it a little bit more like Mean Girl, like, oh, gross, like, where'd you get that dress? That's hideous. Like, that kind of a feel. And then, then I switched it and he wanted me to do it more like genuine, like, oh, I love your dress. Where did you get that dress? And so, yeah, we switched it up. And the look that I gave, I think I just did that. I remember, like, in the moment, because it's like, you're going to get some chips. I was going to get like some chips off the, like, the snack table. And I'm like, what is this lady wearing? Like, what is this girl wearing? She's got some like intense dress on. And I was like, I'm trying to remember now. Did they have me give like a mean one, or was it friendly? I think it kind of just is up for interpretation how I said it, when you watch it back. But yeah, she gives you this look and she's like, I was buried in it. And, I'm like, what? A 16-year-old girl at prom? And I'm like, I think that was just a natural reaction that I gave to what she said. And yeah, when I watched the episode, I love that they kept whatever I did, because I think that was almost part of the like iconic moment. And there's so many funny things to say about this line. I have to just go into it because, for one, I had auditioned so many pages, like it was multiple pages of sides, and then they pared it down to one line. And I remember when I booked it, I was excited. I was like, okay, I got Cassandra, and because there was a couple other characters I auditioned for, so it was that one. And then when I got the sides for the day, I was like, oh, it was one line after all that, But I remember when I was telling my coach later on, like, oh yeah, I booked that role, and he was like, hey, and I was like, I know it was only one line. And he's like, you know what? Those are the hardest jobs to get, and just be excited. Like, I'm telling you, it's an exciting one. And I'm like, okay. And of course, you're grateful. I mean, shoot, I would take one line in some of my favorite films or TV shows. Of course you would. But it's a funny joke for myself, knowing like how much I prepared for the audition for it to, like, they cut it down. And I think they must do that in a lot of these shows, because the writers come up with all these ideas, these characters and these funny moments and these little bits, and then they narrow it down when it comes down because they have to fit it in, so that must have been what happened. But here nor there, that was just super funny. And also, speaking to the one line, I was so shocked that, like, one, it made the trailer, and two, that there's like all these little like memes out there on the internet that I'll see like occasionally, or someone will send me, and it's like me going like, where did you get that dress? And then she's like, I was buried in it. It's like our faces, and it's so funny. Like, who knew, like, who knew you were going to book a job that would have like this funny, iconic moment? And also people to this day, like friends and people I know that were like fans of the show, that realized that, oh, they found out like I'm in it, through like the social media or word of mouth or something. They'll say jokes to me. Like, I'll be out, and one of our fun neighbors, he'll be like, where'd you get that dress? And I'm like, I'm not wearing a dress right now. What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh my God. He's like, why are you clueless? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. But anyway, yeah, what a fun little line. One line that turned into like this moment that people remember. And hey, I'll give credit where credit's due. It was definitely Aubrey and her character, and I just got to be like a little piece of it. So hey, I'll take it. That was awesome.
Oh my God, she's so nice.
Yeah, she seems so sweet.
Oh my God. I love the look. I actually said that in my email to her. I love her look. It wasn't mean or nice. It was just genuine.
No, yeah.
She just was reacting, like she said, it was almost like a shock. Like, what?
Yeah.
Why'd you say that to me?
Yeah. Like, did that really just come out of your mouth?
Exactly. Like, that's not the question I asked. Yeah, so that was really perfect. And yes, you are not the first one that your stuff has been cut. I didn't see anything in the deleted scenes. So, I don't know if maybe you filmed more lines than that. Sounds like you might have. But yeah, with TV too, like they have such crazy constraints for network TV because they have to do the commercials. With this streaming, it's so much, it's a little bit easier, I feel, because they can kind of make it what they need it to be. But with network, it's so hard because you have to have those commercial breaks in there for the advertisements and everything. So that, that always sucks when people get cut. But I haven't seen those memes, so I have to look that up. I haven't seen that.
I thought I knew what she was saying, but I could not pull out like an example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But still, it's super cool.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you. Yes, the dress was my dress. So I remember they emailed me, production must have sent something over asking what options I had. And most times, when you're working on something, they'll have plenty of options there, or they'll, sometimes they'll have you bring stuff just in case, especially if it's a quick thing, because, sometimes things don't fit right and they don't have time to alter it. And so they'll ask, like, do you have something specific? And it kind of makes their job easier, especially with like jeans or things that just fit you like a glove. So yeah, they did ask me, like, do you have any prom dresses or like, formal type dresses? And of course at the time I had so many because I have two sisters and we're talking like so many different events, we'd gone to, we all were working in the industry and, acting and singing, dancing, all that. So we had a lot of dresses for that reason. And then, I was just coming out of that time in my life, going to prom. And of course, my sister was asked to like every prom. So she had so many options. So yes, I did. I had all the options. I sent them over and they ended up picking the yellow dress. And I actually wore that. I wore that one to prom when I was 16 and it fit perfect because I had it altered and all that. And I love that I got to wear it again because you never get to rewear those things. And it's so cute. It's like a bright yellow and it just pops. So I love that I got to do that. Another moment that's just like a fun memory for me. And so yeah, thank you. I love that dress.
Oh my God. I'm so glad I asked about that. Yay!
Yeah, me too. That's awesome.
It looks so good. It really does pop. And I really did love that dress. So I was like, who gave you that? Was that wardrobe or was that yours? And yeah, she's right. A lot of times they do ask you to bring your own stuff because that makes sense. With so many moving parts, it's like a lot going on. Wardrobe fittings can sometimes take a whole day. So it's like, whatever. Oh my God, I love that. Thank you for explaining. I was going to say too, I feel like a lot of, for me, I feel like prom dresses were always really long. And I feel like homecoming dress and then homecoming dresses were always shorter. And I felt like this one was a mixture. Like a lot of them had short dresses. Like what Leslie is wearing seems like more of a homecoming dress to me. And even Alison, I felt like prom was more formal gown vibes. Yeah. But I mean, I think it doesn't really matter in this case, but that it was something that stuck out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hers was definitely a prom dress.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. It was so fun for me to reminisce and look back and think about, the prom episode and what my experience was like. And I remember at that time being very excited. And, it's been a while and, it's been, over 10 years. So thinking back and realizing that was a really fun moment. And I just realized, too, as we were going through this, I was like, wait, I'm such a big fan of Adam Scott and Severance. My husband and I love the show. And what a phenomenal actor he is that he can that's such a contrast, between those roles. And I just can't believe I got to work on a show that he's in. So it's just funny little things like that. You have to go back. And I think that's such a good thing for anyone to do in life, right? Like, you forget the things you've done in the past, and you just kind of move on. And it's good to look back and go, okay, oh, wow, I remember when I did that. That was really fun. Or, don't just move on and forget about it. Look back and remind yourself of the things you got to do, to be grateful and just to be encouraged and inspired by your past accomplishments, So thank you so much. And I love, love, love that there are still fans out there that like want to talk about the show, want to hear about the show. And thank you so much for supporting Parks and Rec, and for the people that supported, the one line and that funny moment between Cassandra Sassnorp and April, and making it into funny like little memes on the internet and all that. I love it. So fun.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, looking back at your past accomplishments and using yourself as an inspiration is truly Leslie core.
Yes, absolutely it is.
Oh my gosh, and the new season of Severance I think is coming out soonish. I've seen like little teasers of people talking about it, and I'm like, when is it coming? It's so good. You haven't seen that, right?
No.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah, we're gonna have a list of shows to watch when
Killian's
all
18.
of our children are, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I do have one more from her. I think this was maybe when I was asking her what else she was up to these days, but let me just check.
You can follow me on Instagram at It's Brittany Oaks, and that's where you can keep up with all the things I'm working on and things I've worked on in my past. I played Thing 2 in The Cat in the Hat, so I share a little bit of those fun things on there, but as well as the projects that I have coming up. There's one project that I'm currently working on that I'm so excited about. It's actually the biggest thing I've ever done, and I'm freaking out a little bit, but I won't be able to share that with you guys until it comes out. So if you stay tuned on my social media, you'll be able to see what's going down, and I think you guys are all going to love it as well. And I also like to share my family and my kids and the things that they're working on. They're also acting, and just all the things we like to do as a family for fun. So I hope to see you on there, and thank you so much for listening.
Oh my God, that's so nice.
Oh, yeah.
I'll definitely be posting everything in the show notes, and I'll tag you in the social media so everybody can follow her. And okay, so I had mentioned at the beginning of this that I think it's listed on IMDb, the project that she might be working on, but I don't think it's like much information. So that's probably another reason why. So yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye out for everything that you are up to. And oh my gosh, thank you so much for those. Those were great. I love them so much.
Yeah,
perfect.
Those were awesome.
Okay, so moving on, Andy got them invited to Damian Keating's barn party. He's the captain of the soccer team. Andy has a fake ID, so he can get them free beer, which is not like, Andy, you have a real ID.
Yeah, you're fine. Like, you're good.
Also, just having an ID does not mean you get free beer.
Yeah.
So this is where April finally opens up and says if they were in high school, they would never have ended up together because they're just so different, and they were so different in high school and still are, really. But Andy says that, the only thing that matters is them now, but April just can't kind of get past the idea that like if they were at high school together, they wouldn't be together, and that makes her really sad. And that's kind of what we were talking about with, just be direct and tell them how you're feeling kind of vibes.
Yeah.
And it's true, like, so many people aren't friends in high school, but could absolutely be friends as adults because it's just life is crazy and you don't know who you are or who anyone else is. You're so insecure, all these things. And as you get to be an adult, you also have more interests / like, how to treat people in a way, or hopefully you do. But yeah, and then Andy is just like, you know what? We are together now. That's really all that matters. And we can bail. We have the limo for 3 hours, and he's just like trying to accommodate. And then April said, this is a really nice, like you said, kind of moment when they realize, we see as an audience how they fit together, even though they are so different, because they both respect each other and want each other to be happy. So Andy's saying they can bail. April says they can stay, which is what each other wants. And it's such a great moment because it shows also not only do they respect each other, but they're willing to kind of give up what makes them feel safe and comfortable for each other. And I think that's really, really special.
Agreed.
And then we have this other special moment next where Ron says he has a 10-point scale for how insane Leslie is being, and he's never told her this.
Yeah.
I think this might be one of my most favorite Ron and Leslie mentorship, friendship moments. It's so beautiful. I think about this line all the time, too, with like blueprints for the future or fool's errand. This part, like blueprints for a house, any foreman with a half a brain doesn't need to look at them. And it's just so perfect. And I really can relate to this sentiment so much. Like, you can plan all you want, but your life will happen both in the planning and the non-planning. Like,
Yeah.
there's just not much you can do about it. You can't control everything. And that's such a hard lesson to learn. And you never really get over learning it. You're constantly reminding yourself you are not in control of fate, essentially. And he says on this scale of 10 points for Leslie's craziness, this one was an 8, and he has police on standby.
That's fair. There are children around.
Yeah. And I mean, this is why it's my favorite too, because she tells Ron that she's thinking of leaving Pawnee, and I want to make sure the city is in good hands if I leave. And Ron just kind of nods. Like, he doesn't lose his mind. He doesn't like get mad or sad or whatever, because I would imagine your friend, because even though they're competing and have differing views and whatever, they are friends and they like each other, and they have grown close regardless of what they think or not. And so your friends, a lot of times when you say that you're planning on leaving, are like mad, sad, upset, disappointed, whatever. And Ron just kind of nods, like he expects this, and he's said it before. I think he's been waiting for this moment to happen. He's always said, like, this is a way station for you. Like, you are going to do better things. You like the struggle. You like helping people. And Pawnee is not the end for you. So I feel like, I don't know, my heart fills, and I just feel so, like, tender for him in this moment, because it just makes me respect him, and it makes me, like, tearful almost that he just, like, is there for her, listening and also being so wise, you know, at the same time, and just kind of lets her talk. Yeah,
that's a really nice moment.
Also, April would never become Leslie. Okay, like, this shows that Leslie might not be thinking straight. She's like, April would become me, and then Alison would become the new April. No, that's that's not the plan, honey. Like, April's perfectly capable of doing what Leslie does, I'm sure, but she would do it in her own way and not probably as intense. And she doesn't have the passion for Park's work. Like, that's not the vibe.
She's not going to be the same person. Even if she had the passion, she'd do it differently than Leslie.
Yeah, and it just wouldn't be the same, I feel. But I know that Leslie sees how capable April is, so I think that's all she's really thinking about. But this is where the surreal, beautiful, sincere kind of moment comes up too, because Ron says in a year you're going to be somewhere else, so like, just enjoy yourself now. And I don't think Leslie has been being present whatsoever, because she kind of can't be in a lot of ways with her personality, but also with this job. She's like, I've got to plan. I've got to figure out how to make the future stable. And I think it's really beautiful that she needs that reminder that you have to be here now too.
Yeah. Enjoy the now.
So the votes are in now for Prom Queen and King, and the winners are Lucy Taylor and Andy Dwyer. And April did this. She rigged the election box. Andy wants his queen, April, though. So she comes on stage. Poor Lucy, the actual queen, is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my God. We got great voice memos also from Carrie Alexander, who plays Lucy, who is the actual prom queen. She's been in a lot of things as well. Big Little Lies, which actually has Adam Scott in it. Fun crossover. Austin and Allie, the Goldbergs, a ton of cool stuff. So let's listen to her voice memos.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on the show. I'm so happy to be here. Gosh, let's take it back. I gotta think about booking the role of Lucy Taylor. Such a cute name. I still remember seeing that on the breakdown and being like, oh, Lucy Taylor, that's a sweet name. I booked this role when I think I did Parks and Rec when I was 17, and I'm now 29, so it's been a minute. Forgive me for my memory, but I'm pretty sure when I auditioned, I have just a few little bits that come to mind. Most of it is blurry, but I think it was one of those days where I had bigger auditions that day, like, because Lucy was a small role, and I only had a couple lines to learn, and so I remember putting all my eggs in the other baskets, and it was a lot of like, okay, first I have this series regular audition, and then I have this recurring or whatever, and then the last stop was my Parks and Rec audition, and I think it was on Wilshire. Yeah, it was at the Samsung building, Wilshire and La Brea. I don't know if that was Parks and Rec. It was the only time I ever read for Parks and Rec. So I don't know if that was their permanent casting. Maybe other actors on this show have mentioned it. But That was where I auditioned for it. It was a casting associate dude that was in there, super nice guy. And I just remember I wore this little pink studded blazer. And I guess that was my best version of what I thought a prom queen would look like, based on what was in my closet. And I don't remember anything specific about the audition, to be honest. It was so small and fun. And I think I did like a little prom queen wave, and we had a good time. And maybe he gave me a few redirects. I don't totally remember, but I know that I was aware it was on tape for producers. So because it's a small role, I kind of figured that they wouldn't do an in-person callback. It would just, they'd book from the tape, which was true. So anyway, read for it that day, went home, probably thinking about the other auditions, to be honest, that I don't think I ever heard back on. And then a couple days later, I was out on a walk and my manager called me and I missed it. And I listened to the voice message and I remember exactly where I was. And she's like, congratulations, you're on Avail for Parks and Rec. And within an hour or two, I booked it. On Avail, if you guys, I'm sure you know what it means, but actor term for basically checking your availability. At the time, it meant you're kind of in the final 1, 2, 3 actors they have in mind. And back then, you'd book it pretty quickly, especially for an episodic because it shot so soon. So I booked it and I was stoked. Now, the funny thing about booking this show, which I'll get into and some of the other questions probably, is I'd never seen it. It was on, this is season 6, you guys. I'm so out of it, but I was in high school. I was just way, way out of it and way missing the mark on the show. So I knew that it was awesome. I knew that it was on NBC and it was a big deal. I obviously loved Amy Poehler and the cast in theory, but I just didn't watch the show. So I was so excited as an actress to be a part of it, and I knew it was a great credit, but I was very unaware of how iconic it would be and what an awesome show it was to be a part of.
I totally understand. That's acceptable to me, I feel. There's a lot of shows I feel that are just like, I'm not really sure about or whatever. And also I was trying to think, I don't know when I started watching Parks and Rec.
Yeah, so I feel like I definitely saw season 3 as it was coming out. Like when she's running for office and everything. That's season 3, right?
Yeah? I think it's the end of
maybe
season
it's
4.
4.
Yeah, it's
maybe it's 4.
4.
But I'm pretty sure season 3 I was like watching. Like when Ben and Chris are there, I was watching live. But before that, I hadn't been watching.
Yeah. Yeah, I really couldn't tell you, to be honest. I wish I could pinpoint it, but I don't know. And then, yeah, isn't that such a mind fuck too, when you're just like, I want to put my energies and my focus into like the big auditions that I would really love to book, and then you get the one that you didn't really care about. So like you have to convince yourself not to care too much about roles. Then maybe you'll get it, but it's just like, oh my God, so weird. But yeah, I love that. And I love that it was really soon. Being on Avail is such a great thing, but it's also so again, mindfuckery, because that doesn't mean you got it necessarily, you know what I mean? But it's also a very big win because it means that you're, in the top, which I'm so glad that she did. That's awesome.
Yeah.
My day on set. Okay. So I want to say that my mom was with me because I was so young, which was fun. She came with me a lot. We had a great time. And I think we shot at a school in either Studio City or Sherman Oaks. I'm not exactly sure, but the whole episode being Prom, they shot a lot of it in this real gymnasium, auditorium room. And so I never actually got to see the Pawnee sets. I think they shot at Universal. I could be wrong. I never got to see any of that, which, oh my gosh, now that I'm a mega fan, years later I watched the show. And it's become one of my absolute favorites of all time. So I crack up because I forget I was on it. And then I'm watching it through. I've probably seen it through 3 or 4 times. And I will always see that episode and chuckle. But because I was like, I didn't even know what show I was on. What? How did I not know? How amazing this is. But anyway, so I think it was on location. It was Sherman Oaks or Studio City. I showed up. It was one of those days where, they shoot a lot of those scenes in one day on one set. So because so much of the episode was Prom and was in that building, I was only in one of maybe 6 scenes that day. So by the time I got there, I want to say I had a mid-morning call time, and Amy Poehler had already wrapped. So when I walked into the hair and makeup trailer, she was sitting there getting her hair and makeup kind of undone, taking her makeup off, everything. And so again, didn't fully realize how freaking phenomenal she is. I wasn't as starstruck as I would be now, but I was still starstruck a little. I mean, I think I still knew who Amy Poehler was, but I just kind of popped in and she looked at me and she was like, "Good morning," and I said, "Oh, good morning," and went over to the other side of the hair and makeup and got my hair and makeup done. And she kind of headed out before I ever got to talk to her again. But she was lovely. I mean, for just kind of being done with her day and getting out of there, she was very pleasant, very sweet, which doesn't surprise me. I've always heard great things. So that was cool. And then I think I did my wardrobe on set right after that. Often there's a fitting a different day, but because, again, this role was a day player, they just said, "We'll find you a prom dress on the spot." And one of the funny things was, and looking back now, like as a fan of the show, I totally get Pawnee is supposed to be this very hilarious example of the Midwest, but I'm from the Midwest. I'm from a very small town called Tip City in Ohio. So I chuckled, and my mom chuckled too, because she was with me in this fitting, because we kept trying on all these dresses and there were some that were really beautiful. And of course, me being 17 and, going to prom soon in real life, I was like, "Oh, I love this one. I love this one." And they kept saying, "It's just not Pawnee enough. It's just not Midwest enough. Nobody in the Midwest is gonna wear a dress that pretty. Let's be real." I kept being like, "Wait, I'm from Ohio. What are you saying? We dress well." So I just thought it was funny. Now, again, I get that the part of the humor is Pawnee being Pawnee, this fictional town. That's incredible. So they picked whatever dress I wore, which I want to say was a sort of an aqua and purple situation. It's actually really pretty and fun. It was just a little bit more what they considered Midwest prom, whatever that means. So did that and then walked to set, and they walked me over. It's so funny now, you guys, but I knew who Chris Pratt was. I actually didn't know who Aubrey Plaza was, but I did know who Chris Pratt was, and I loved the movie Bride Wars. That was my jam. So I just kept saying, and I want to say at the time Chris was literally shooting Guardians of the Galaxy because he was in shape at the time. I think he had just wrapped it or he was prepping for it. Either way, he was in the Guardians world. He was absolutely blowing up and killing it. And I, meanwhile, was like, "Hi, I love you in Bride Wars." He's probably like, "This girl, has she ever seen the show? Does she know that I'm actually doing really huge things now?" But he was so kind. He actually made an effort to come over to introduce himself. I told him I loved him in Bride Wars, and it was, again, so great how naive I was and how unfamiliar with the show, because I honestly wasn't very starstruck. I was like, "Yeah, I've seen you in one movie, dude. Cool." And meanwhile, he's just absolutely, his career's blowing up. But he was so kind. He asked me where I was from. We talked about my little hometown, about being a child actor a little bit. And he just made a real effort. And then Aubrey Plaza was awesome too. I want to say she didn't pop over until it was actually time to shoot. So I never talked to her. She was just kind of popped in just in time to do the scene. And she was great as well. It was really cool to work with both of them. And honestly, I would describe the scene as a whirlwind, because it's kind of was like a oneer. We shot it all. Yeah, as I'm getting called up and I'm the prom queen and I go up there and then he takes my crown and what's happening? And it all happened so fast. And then it was done, and then I wrapped, and I remember going home that day and probably getting Taco Bell on the way home. That was kind of my little routine when I would work on a project and when I'd wrap the day. But it was awesome, and I just remember it being a really fun day of work. And sitcoms are so fast, and there's so much energy going on, and I actually think, I think a lot of the series regulars were actually in that particular prom scene, and they all just felt so chill. It was such a friendly, chill set that because I didn't know who everybody was, what the characters were, it was just very easy to just kind of be a part of it. And it wasn't overwhelming. I remember the sound guys being really, really sweet, particularly while they're miking me up on my leg with my prom dress. And it was a great day.
Oh my God, that is so nice. I love hearing that the sound guys and the crew were great and the cast is great. Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've never seen Bride Wars. Have you seen Bride Wars?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's Anne Hathaway and Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
And
I've seen the
Chris
trailer.
Pratt.
And what's his ass from he was in the Reba show and Shameless. I can't remember his name.
I can't either.
But anyhow, I did not. Does Pratt have a big part in that?
Yeah, he's Anne Hathaway's fiance.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm pretty sure it's before or in the very beginning of Parks. Let me see what year it came out. Because go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna Google this.
Oh, okay.
Because he's not like fit like he is in.
Right. I was
like,
just going to speak
Guardians.
on that too, to Carrie's point. Yeah, because he had just finished Guardians by this point, or had finished, had been done with it for probably a little bit. Or maybe it was like just about to wrap up or whatever. But yeah, because I think he came back after London and was done with it. But yeah, so that's why he was like super fit at that point.
And this did come out in 2009. So the same year that Parks started.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Fun. So, love that. And then, I totally get the Midwestern thing. I was just going to comment on that. That is so funny because I get the same way about, I'm sure you can relate just being from the Midwest, but also like I absolutely can relate with the Southern thing. People have such a caricature of the South. But like she said, they're not completely wrong.
Yeah.
For super, obviously it's like offensive in some regards because especially for prom, it's like, yeah, but it's a cute dress. Like, what are you talking about? I would absolutely wear this. Just because I'm from Indiana or a small town in Ohio doesn't mean I wouldn't wear this. But that's what sitcoms do, though. They kind of make a caricature of the town, which I think Parks did a decent job of not making it like so offensive, but there are some offensive pieces in it.
Yeah.
And then yes, the school that you shot at Carrie was Tarzana, and then the studio is CBS Radford in Studio City. So you weren't far off. Okay, let's listen to the next one.
In this scene, it's scripted that I'm just among the students in the crowd dancing, whatever, and then they say, and the prom queen is Lucy Taylor, and Night Smile, yay, and I go on up there, and I think we walked through the scene a few times. I don't remember getting a line change because I literally had one line. But I do remember the actors, like Chris and Aubrey definitely were very loose in a really cool way. I can't say they were loose with dialogue. I don't know, because again, one line. But I do know that they really played in a cool way. And I remember that scene feeling like a whirlwind because you have all the students, you have all the music, you have action, and they just we did it all in one. And so from the moment they say that I'm prom queen all the way to when Chris and Aubrey run off, whatever that line is that they say about being prom king and prom queen, it was all in one. So I don't remember getting like a line change, but I do remember them really playing around and having fun with the crown and different ways, and it was great. It's probably one of the first times I really got to learn from some pros just to see how comfortable they were and how much fun they were having. That's one of my favorite things about comedy is just the play.
Look at these professional actors that are talking about learning from their time on set. They're so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And just like really soaking it up like a sponge. Wonderful.
Yeah. I know. I've loved all these voice memos.
They're so good. And yeah, I absolutely understand. Like, I can't imagine. To me, it seemed like a whirlwind just watching it. So I can't imagine being in it. Like, not only from going up to the stage, but then running away from the stage when they're like, fuck it, I'm taking the crown. You know what I mean? Crazy. Absolutely. I love her little line, too, of, no, I'm not. I'm a senior. Like, I don't have another chance. Are you kidding me? And same thing with Brittany. I like both of their facial expressions. That was really funny. So well done to both of them. Okay. Absolutely. It looks like we have maybe two more, I think. Let's listen to the next one.
Something that I love about this role, this small role, that makes my heart so warm is that I can honestly say I've worked a good bit in the industry. I've been doing it since I was 12, and I have been recognized for Parks and Rec more than any other project, which of course makes me laugh because it was my smallest role I ever did. But it just shows how much the show stands the test of time and how the fans love it and know it. I mean, it's crazy to me that from one line, I will have people I've had numerous times at Starbucks or something, the person checking me out is like, were you on Parks and Rec? And I'm thinking, for 2 seconds, you remember me? But I think the prom queen was a really cool role to get because that episode is prom, and there's only a few of us students in it that were highlighted, and I always get to say I was the Pawnee prom queen. How cool is that? So I think that's just like an anecdote that always makes my heart happy when people recognize me from the show, because I guess they've just seen it so many times. And honestly, like, I've seen Parks and Rec a lot. I've seen Gilmore Girls a lot. There's a few that are my repeat shows, Friday Night Lights. And I kind of get it, because when you watch that show 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, you know every co-star, you know every guest star. You're just familiar with the whole world. And so it's an honor to me that, as small of a role as I was on the show, that I will have people treat me like I was part of Pawnee, because I was.
Oh my God.
So cool.
That is so nice. She's so like, I feel I feel like both Brittany and Carrie, I feel like I want to say Leslie's line of like, get her away from me. I want to mentor her to death. They're so good. That line. Oh my God. It's so lovely. Yeah. And so true. I mean, I also think it's a testament to like people that recognize people, co-stars from this show, because it was so long ago, and so many people, like, especially these girls, but like just because they were younger, but like so many people within 10 to 12 years can change their look so much. So like the fact that they're recognized, like even sometimes on IMDb, I'm like, is that her? I don't really know, because you look different because you dyed your hair, or you have, as you age, your facial features change, whatever. So I find that really fascinating. And yeah, totally. The idea that you get to be Pawnee, prom queen of the Pawnee, what did I say? Pawnee puppies.
Yeah, the Pawnee puppies.
Oh no, Pawnee Central. That's why I was struggling. It's Pawnee Central High School, Pawnee Central puppies. Okay, the last question is the things that she's doing currently.
These days, I am still acting. I've been acting so much of my life. I also married an actor, my husband, Connor. We've been married for 3 years, and then we had our baby boy just this last May. So I am full-time wife and mom mode, also auditioning. My husband was on a show in Charleston on and off the last couple of years, so we've spent some time there. And I also just launched a podcast called New Mom. So I've been busy between momming and doing the mom podcast. It's been so much and a lot of fun. But yeah, to plug the podcast, it is honestly just for any new moms that are wanting to feel less alone, are wanting encouragement, or just want to hear other moms talking about the exact same thing that they're talking about. That's kind of what the space is. And it's been, of course, so much fun, because when you have a baby, that tends to be kind of all you talk about. So I'm loving having friends on, actresses, non-actresses, whoever, and just kind of sharing like that phase of life. So check it out. It's at New Mom Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Threads. I don't know. Check it out. New Mom Podcast. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I think this show is such a good idea. I personally am always down to rewatch and listen along to Parks and Rec anytime. Pawnee for life, from the prom queen herself. I love it, and I'm honored to just be a small part of this episode and be a small part of this show and this world. And I wish you guys all the best.
Oh my gosh, she's so nice.
So sweet. Oh my gosh.
You'll have to be a guest on her podcast.
I know. I would love to be a guest on your podcast and talk about my baby and all the things that toddlers put in their mouths and do. And yeah, I love it. I love talking about Killy. I'd do that.
Well, and especially like, I don't know, moms need other moms. It's just a fact, I feel. And also, like she said, it is something that you talk about all the time, because that is your life now. And that is something that you focus on. So, and I feel like people in general need to vent, but moms in particular need to vent and just talk about it all, or at least hear other people talking about it. I feel like that would be a podcast where, if I was a mom, because I already do this with other podcasts I relate to, if I was a mom, I would be like talking to the podcast and be like, yes, exactly. Yep. I do that with other podcasts.
100%. Yeah. And you and I have talked about that, and about how like it's so important to just have some friends in your life that are moms. And it helps, especially if you have friends that are like around this, they have kids around the same age, like, you know, it doesn't have to be to the month or even the year, but just kind of around the same kind of stuff. Because there's a lot of emotions that you go through as a mom, especially if you're a working mom, you know, like there's a lot of guilt and a lot of that kind of stuff, and just having, you know, validation and somebody to bounce ideas off of, and just somebody to hear their other experiences, you know, you're not alone. Right. And it's really nice.
Yeah. So yes. And as we know, podcasts are a lot of work. So that's a lot to do mom stuff and a podcast, and I don't know if you're doing research or just interviewing, but either interviewing and talking, like,
either way,
I mean,
yeah.
I would imagine that you're preparing a little bit for it. So, but also if you're not preparing, that's fine too, because I could imagine just having a conversation and just seeing what comes up.
Yeah.
But yes, I will post that in the show notes and tag everything on the Instagram and socials and everything like that. So thank you so much, Carrie, for sending that in. That was so fun to hear. Yes, from the prom queen herself.
Yes.
Yay. Love. Okay, well, we're rounding out here. Weezer Buddy Holly is playing, which is totally not early 90s, if that was Ben's pick. But it's a great choice, I think. Ron grabs a whole thing of burger sliders, which, by the way, that's a nice as hell refreshment for a high school prom.
Yeah.
Who did that? Maybe somebody donated.
Yeah, let's hope somebody donated.
Right.
Because that's where all the money went.
Yeah, exactly. This is where Ben is really nice here and really cheers Tom up by saying Tom hasn't had time to keep up because he started 2 different businesses in the last 2 years. And so you don't really have time to keep up with trends, which is true. But also, I just think it's more... I think the better, not better, like the more relevant advice / topic is that you just like don't worry about kids. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And also you're not a high schooler and that's okay.
100%. And also this idea is really funny because great job to Ben for cheering him up that, you'll never be as old as me. And Tom is like, it would be nice if Tom could say thank you instead of like, yeah, that's right. You're old as hell, but whatever.
Yeah. It's very rare that we get any, like that Ben gets any thanks from Tom. Like he really does, he really does mentor him.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Great point. That's a really nice way to look at it too, because Leslie has all the people that she wants to mentor and everything. And so Ben is definitely like a guide for Tom. That's true.
Yeah.
All right, so Leslie and Ron apologize to Alison and say, whatever you choose will be great. And Alison has a very sweet moment. And this is, again, one of my favorite lines that I just said that, Alison says both of them taught her something. And she's like really grateful for all of this. Leslie's like, oh my God, what the hell? Like, you're so grounded and perfect. I want to mentor you to death. Like, oh my God. But then we get a twist of terrible fate. That she introduces us to her boyfriend, who just happens to be Pakitis.
Greg Pakitis.
I absolutely
nice callback too.
Nice callback. So good. You would not anticipate this. Did not anticipate this at all. It's like a horror movie, like jump scare. I agree with Leslie wholeheartedly. Like, how dare she? And you have terrible judgment. I know you're just a kid, but actually, I take back all of my mentoring.
Yeah, no more internship because you obviously can't make good decisions. To be fair, she's 17.
To be fair.
But also.
I will say also, like who didn't do shitty things when you're 17 or like have a crush on someone that is absolutely ridiculous for you? Or just in general, like not just 17-year-olds are like responsible for that. Okay. Adults do that too. But I was wondering too, like, Alison can't, I'm just giving her the benefit of the doubt. Alison cannot know that he is such a little terror. Like when he does the stapling thing, she has this look on her face, which I don't know if this was, the actor's choice or director's choice, but she has this look on her face like, wait a second, what's going on? Like you have this relationship with Leslie? What? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So just a reminder, Pakitis is played by the actor Cody Klopp, who we did a little summary on the last time he was on Parks, which feels like a million years ago. His last credit is 2019, and I don't see his contact info, so I'm not sure if he's still acting or not. I think I might have tried to look this up last time. I'm sure I did, but obviously we didn't hear from him. But either way, great job. Well done on being Pakitis. He was great.
Oh my gosh, the worst. And the little clamp of the stapler.
Oh my God.
At the end.
Also, I was wondering what the age difference is because how old was he when he started messing with her? He must have been younger. Maybe he was like, I thought he was already a teenager, like maybe 15 or something, but maybe he was like 13.
Yeah, he would have had to be like in his last year of middle school or something, right? Because that was the second season?
Yeah. Because it was before she was city councilor. And it was when fucking Louis C.K. was on the fucking show, which is like a million years ago. But anyway, well done.
Yeah. and like we said, just well done being like, we can pull Pacitus in here at the end and surprise everyone.
Yeah. That's the thing she needs mentorship on. Leslie needs to give her some advice on that. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Also,
I wonder what that.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I wonder what that phone call was like to get the call. It's like, hey, you know this character you played 4 years ago? Do you want to come back?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I wonder too.
Yeah.
That would be such a fun surprise. What a nice little, shock to the system.
Yeah.
I was also thinking that it was really great that they had him bring back his peach, like his calling card.
Yeah.
He's eating a peach.
Very smart.
That was on top of the not fire, whatever his little prank was.
Yeah.
But yes, he
With
stapled her dress. He stapled her dress to the tablecloth, and everything falls off when she walks away. And Leslie's like, the offer's off the table. Like, she cannot be running parks with this. And I just was wondering, I mean, this opens up such an interesting moment where I'm like, is she going to stay with him after he shows that he did that with the stapler?
No, she should not. She should be like, I'm out. That was rude.
But he's a bad boy, so maybe she's into that. I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
Well, we wish you luck, Alison, whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Wherever the world took you.
Okay, well, that's all of my notes. Did you have anything else to add?
No, that was it.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for listening. We really very much appreciate it. Sorry this one was so long, but also not sorry because those voice memos were freaking fantastic, and I am obsessed.
Worth it. Definitely.
Also, I totally forgot to ask at the beginning. You could have cut me off too, or we can save it for next time. But if you had any of the memes that you were wanting to talk about, or the quotes from Instagram or whatever that you were talking about.
Oh, not like pulled together.
Oh, okay.
But, we're living in a crazy time right now.
Yeah, we were talking about some of the things we were seeing on Instagram that were really funny to us, pointing out the stupidity of the MAGA party. So that was, And I mean, that retweet function on Instagram, I know people maybe have muted me or something, but I retweet the shit out of everything now because that function is newer and I love it because it pulls up in people's feed when I retweet it and it's perfect. And so, congratulations to Bad Bunny. It was a beautiful Super Bowl. I know we're behind because by the time this comes out, it will have been like 2 weeks or whatever since that happened. But beautiful cultural celebration. That's the America that I believe in and know that is possible. And the people that are complaining about it being in Spanish can just fuck right off because that's stupid. All the people that are saying, it should be in English, and then all the memes that come out of like, well, you guys don't seem to understand the Constitution or the Epstein files, which are in English. So I don't understand what you're talking about. This is a crazy time. I don't know how to. It's really hard to balance. That's all. That's really kind of what I'll say. I mean, it's really hard to balance being a human and doing all your shit while all of this is going down.
Yeah.
Because you not only have to be a good citizen, you have to be a good like mom, wife, brother, daughter, whatever, like worker, employee. Like you're just going to work and answering stupid emails that don't matter when like people are dying. And it's just like really, really hard mentally. So I absolutely understand that part of it. And it's just like really sucky. So just try to take care of yourself as best as you can. But I've been making like lists of things and trying to check off as much as I can with like the advocacy part of it. It's really easy to email your senators if you don't want to call. It's really important in these red states, like Arizona and like some parts of Wisconsin and, just a lot of states that really need. And Tennessee, oh my God, Tennessee is really pissing me off. It has for a long time, but Nashville people, call your senators. Tennessee people, call your senators or email them. It's very easy to do. I don't know if they will take notice, but they seem to be taking notice for the DHS funding. So, I mean, I hope so anyway. Like it still hasn't passed. And I think if we hadn't called and done that, it would have passed faster. So I'm just saying, I know it seems like it's really hard to keep going and that your work doesn't count, but it does.
Yeah, it does.
So thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good weekend, week, whenever you're listening to this.
Bye.
some pals, and there's also therapy too.